Hello and welcome to another episode of this wonderful podcast. We'll be watching today's fights, Sandhagen versus Font. Um, Interesting matchups. I think I personally believe that Sandhagen's going to get it done today in the main event. I think he's just a little bit too long, moves quite well. I don't know. I just got this feeling that he's going to have knees up the middle for Font in this particular fight. Oliver Ekman's on. How are you, Oliver? Randy's on. How are you guys? It is a small card, so like a kind of not as necessarily well-known card as others. I can talk a little bit about some of the predictions and why I think that like who might win in this card. Um, in the lightweight division, Ignacio Bahamandez versus Ludovic Klein. I think that Ignacio is going to get this one done. I don't think that I don't think that Ludovic. I don't know. I don't see anything Ludovic necessarily that's going to. I don't know these guys that much. I'm not going to lie to you, but I have watched them a little bit. But I think Ignacio is going to get this one done. Randy says, "Hope you've been having a good weekend. I'm curious, does Strickland have any chance against Israel?" I mean, does he have a chance? I mean, yeah, everyone has a chance. I think that Strickland's actually a very good fighter, and in a lot of ways, I think he's underrated. But having said that, I think that Israel is a different animal, and he's pretty much like the Israel's probably one of the worst matchups for Strickland that you're going to have. I don't see Strickland having questions that Israel can't answer as far as the striking is concerned, as far as his ability to offensively grapple Israel to a point that is going to make a substantive difference in the fight. I don't see that necessarily. I could be wrong. I don't see him having the necessarily one shot power to really make Israel think about something as well. So I don't even know if he'll be able to get Israel to the ground or get close enough to be able to get Israel to the ground. I think that Sean's ground game is underrated as well. I just don't think that in a striking battle with Israel's experience and reach and Israel's own power as well, man. Israel kicks hard, punches hard, and without a huge threat of a takedown, I don't see anything really stopping Israel from being able to do his game. I think it's going to be kind of like the different because they're different kinds of fighters, but kind of like the Pereira fight in that there wasn't really anything to really make Pereira worry. You know, that's what I think. SG says, greetings from Canada, Fab. Greetings, SG. How are you? SG says, apparently Sean's got really bad knees, which explains his stiff footwork, according to him. Yeah, I think he had a very bad motorcycle accident, which I can't imagine would be a lot of fun. And someone who has really bad knees myself, I can tell you it really does affect everything that you do, you know. So this is not going to be helpful against Israel, you know. I think Israel has too many weapons standing up, and even Israel's grappling and his ability, more so now to stay on the feet is really it's and his ability to get up. I think it's there's not a lot of upside for Sean. I like Sean. I think he's very, very good. I just think he matches up with Israel and with Alex really, really badly. I think they're two guys that he matches up with. They're horrid matchups for him. You know, they're also very, very long. You know, Sean likes to work everything off that jab and get you moving backwards. You know, with that jab, and that's probably, that's probably like the worst person you're going to do it to. SG says Israel has said on a recent podcast that he plans on submitting his next opponent. I mean, I don't know that Israel would beat Sean in a grappling match necessarily, but he could if he hurts him standing. You know, if he hurts him bad, then of course, you know, he could tap him out. You know, I don't know that Israel is necessarily the better grappler of the two. I don't necessarily think that. I don't think that Israel's a better grappler of the two of them, but I'd say he's a better striker, and he's, if he hurts you, he could submit you. So if he plans on doing that, I don't know. It just depends who he fights, I suppose. SG says Israel. Yep. Joseph says, here we are again, gentlemen, men of culture watching combat. I may be drunk at the moment. What's up, everyone, and Coach Fab? How are we, people? How you all doing? So that fight is an interesting talking point. Give me 1 second, guys. Not the whistle, Kira. Not the whistle. It's an interesting talking point as far as come here. Yeah, it's an interesting talking point. I just think that it's a very difficult matchup. I think it's a very difficult matchup for Sean. I don't see it. SG says, will you be covering Jake versus Diaz? The problem is I don't know when they will start, or like what time, like as in I can look it up right now, but I don't know if it'll coincide with this card. If it's, to be honest with you, I haven't really been looking at that or anything, so I don't know. Let me see if Australian time. Yeah, I don't. No, I think it's going to coincide with what we're doing here, so I don't think I will be. No. Unless everyone on this stream says let's cover that. I don't think Diaz is going to beat Jake Paul, and I'll go for Nate Diaz. So that's going to be a hard one for me to watch. I don't think he will. I think Jake Paul's a little bit bigger than him. Not a little bit, a fair bit bigger than him. Like naturally, as a human, he's a bigger guy. Jake Paul's a guy. Nate Diaz, a guy that fought his best fights at lightweight, and he was a lightweight for the better part of his career. So, and that's any of his best fights, any of his good fights, they were all at lightweight. He kind of, as he got older, became a welterweight, if you will, and Jake Paul's naturally a bigger guy and much younger. SG says, I think we'll see entertainer Nate and not fighter Nate. I mean, good luck. I hope he gets paid, and I'm always a Diaz brothers fan. That's why probably I don't want to watch it as well. It's hard to see that, like I don't, no, it's hard to watch those fights, with the guys as they get older and that, and you watch them fight and you know how good they were at one time. I don't really want to see him lose to Jake Paul. Nothing against Jake, but I just think that I don't want to see him fight. SG says, also thoughts on GSP versus Maia in grappling. Damian Maia. It's hard to say because I haven't seen Damian Maia grapple, for a long, long time. And he is older as well. They're both older. It depends how they're aged, I would have to edge. I don't know because I haven't seen them grapple. You know what I mean? I haven't seen them grapple, and it depends on the rules that they'll be grappling under. I'd have to favor Maia though. For the most part, I'd have to favor Maia. I just think credential wise in actual grappling, he's done a lot more, and I think he's a naturally bigger guy than GSP. That'd be my take on that one. But I haven't seen enough of them. Like, it's not like they've been actively competing in grappling where you can see, all right, this is how good they are. This is what they look like now in their 40s. You know what I mean? There's different 40-year-olds, like there's not many, and I'm not saying that either. I'm not accusing either one of them of this. But there's not many guys that are in their 40s that are competing that aren't on some sort of substance, So it depends. We're going to have to see what these 40-year-olds look like. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. You know, it's 40 is an interesting number because people age 40 differently than others. You know, but head to head, I'd probably go with Maya. Rio says, Fab, do I think Drickus can beat Izzy? I said this the other day. Like, if Rob wasn't sick, or because I didn't pick Drickus, right? I didn't pick Drickus against Rob. I'm not gonna. I like Drickus. I like the way he carries himself. I like the way he just is and that. But I never thought he'd beat Rob. I didn't think he'd beat Rob like at all. So if Rob wasn't sick, or there was something wrong or something like this, then and he did what he did to Rob, then I can't really pick against him. You know what I mean? I can't, like, if he can do that to Rob, then he can do that to anyone. He can beat anyone. If there was nothing wrong with Rob, and I haven't heard that there may be, or there is, or that there isn't. So if he could do that, then yeah, I think he can. I think he can beat Israel. I don't know because the other thing why I don't think he'll beat Israel is that surprise factor that he may or may not have had against Rob. I think Israel's like seen other things, he's been able to watch different fights. You've been able to have that fight against Rob puts a different perspective on everything. Can we get a physical 5-minute timer, Fab? Would help keeping you and the show synced up. Yes, man. Well, I used to have one. I have to get it out of storage. I will absolutely do that. 100%. Yeah, so no, going back to the Drickus and Izzy fight, which I find that really interesting fight, to be honest with you. I don't think that I don't know that Drickus can apply that same game twice. I don't know that he's going to be able to surprise, if for want of a better term. The one X factor, one thing that I find really interesting between Drickus and Izzy, not the actual training itself, like the technical component of the training, I don't think is that important. I don't think it matters. But the one thing that's interesting is that they have trained together before. And that tells you a lot about each other. Like even if it was a long time ago, it doesn't necessarily have to be sorry, I'm just trying to get the fight on. My internet's messing up. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be, I know what's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be, I felt this guy. Like, I know how strong this guy is. I know how he moves, the length of this person. Like, sometimes people are built a little bit funny, and both these guys are. Like, Israel's very long. He's very strong. He's a much bigger guy than people think he is. Drickus seems to be like really long and awkward and very strong. So if they have interacted, which they obviously have, that's a really interesting X factor. And it's not just a question of, oh, I tapped him or he beat me or whatever. It's the fact that you felt this guy. Now, sometimes that tells you a lot. That tells you, like, this is what that guy feels like, and I know that I can apply. If I get in certain positions, I know that I'm a lot stronger than them, or I'm a lot longer than them. That I think is a really interesting one. I've got Ignacio winning this fight, by the way. I just think he's done a little bit. Just think he's a little bit more complete. I haven't seen the body of work, and I've only just started watching these fights a lot more recently, but I think Ignacio's going to do it. Man, Fab's camera is high quality. You can see the veins popping out of his biceps and neck. Oh, mate, Oliver Ekman, what are we going to do with you, mate? What are we going to do with you? Yeah, no. So I don't know. Drickus is still an enigma to me. Like I wouldn't have picked him against Rob. I probably wouldn't pick him against Rob again. Even though he beat him, I still wouldn't. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of him. I haven't seen enough of him to be able to go, yeah, bang, this is it. I don't know that he's going to be able to catch Israel out like that. I don't think so. I just don't see it. Having said that, if his grappling is that good, and he can get him down like this. Maybe he can. Marvin Vettori got Israel down. Rob got Israel down. Vettori had some good positions against Israel. This is not a good sign for Israel, I don't think. I think that the other thing that Vettori doesn't have that Dricus does have is like one-stop shot power, you know what I mean? And that will that makes your grappling a lot easier as well. And Dricus is aggressive with going for the submissions. He's very aggressive with it. I've seen him go for submissions where, like, I don't necessarily even think sometimes that they were the best submission to go for in that particular moment, but he goes for it anyways. So that creates problems as well. Like, he's aggressive. He's really aggressive. He really goes for the kill, and he's a very, very hard and tough man, So I don't know that these are all X factors that are outside of just your skill, like it's not just technique. He's very confident as well in going for certain moves, in going for the finish. And I think that can prove difficult once you're in there with him. It's like a little bit hard to adjust to that level of aggression. Costa's kind of like that as well. He's a bit hit and miss, but Costa is like that in that he's very aggressive as well, like it doesn't mean you can't beat him or whatever, but he is very aggressive. And that level of aggression can be hard to deal with. We're about to kick off. I think Ignacio's going to be too long in this fight. We're off. Okay, Ignacio's on the outside in red he's switching stances in the southpaw stance. Klein is on the outside in a southpaw stance. Both guys fighting southpaw. Ignacio switches to orthodox and back to southpaw. Klein goes looking for a jab to the body, which Ignacio is able to parry. The trading in the middle ends with a right high kick from Ignacio Bahamandez. Bahamandez again in the southpaw stance. Both men in southpaw stance. Klein holding the center of the octagon, and they both exchange low kicks. I think as soon as this fight, if Klein doesn't get him out of here relatively early, I think as the fight settles down and that power situation leaves, like in the first 7 or 8 minutes where that really matters, I think Ignacio's going to just find his range and just pepper him. Nice knee up the middle by Bahamandez. Bahamandez fainting on it. So is Klein. Oh, Klein goes with it, looking for a big left hand on Bahamandez when Bahamandez is in the orthodox stance, and he found a home for that. Got him nice punched up the middle. Bahamandez goes looking for a body kick, misses. Now he's fighting in the orthodox stance against Klein in the southpaw stance. Now back both. Oh, left hand again. Big right hand lands by Klein. So Bahamandez goes looking for a takedown. Klein stops it. That's what I said. I said if in these first 7 or 8 minutes, if Klein can catch some big shots, because he's obviously the more powerful of the two, he could win this fight unless Bahamandez is able to find his range. Klein did a very good job. He's been landing those shots, big shots, but now in the close guard, he's got Bahamandez stacked up against the cage. He's not in the best of positions here, Bahamandez. Bahamandez looking to use the cage to swivel his hips, looking for a submission, armbar perhaps. There's not a lot of ground and pound being landed from Klein, and Bahamandez is not trying to get up. He's in the closed guard. This is very, very telling. He's not doing a great showing of trying to get up, but Klein is trying to hold him down. He's looking for a guillotine, he's Bahamandez, but it's not really on. It's not really there. Now Bahamandez with an elbow from the bottom. Klein with some ground and pound to the body from the top there. He has Bahamandez stacked up against the cage. He's not doing a great deal of damage, but he's definitely winning this round. Bahamandez is active from the bottom though, but he's not really doing any damage or improving his position immensely, and he's not trying to get up. Oh, a nice little up kick from Bahamandez. You have to be careful with a guy that's 6'3" in that division. Bahamandez still active, very active on the bottom, moving, trying to create angles here, but it's not enough. It's not going to be. I don't see him submitting Klein from the bottom at this stage of the fight, but he is surviving after taking some big shots on the feet. Oh, he goes looking for a triangle, but Bahamandez slips out of it. He's got a very active guard. does sorry, the computer's playing up on me. Bahamandez got a very active guard, but it's not gonna. I don't think at this stage of the game he's gonna submit Klein. That's all I've got to say on that. Now they're in the closed guard. Klein's kind of stretched out, but he's maintaining the top position. I don't see Bahamandez sweeping him, and I don't see Bahamandez tapping him from the bottom at this stage. Maybe as the fight progresses, it might be something to watch if Klein starts to get tired. But at the moment, I don't see that either. I see Klein being all over Bahamandez until something else happens. Klein's doing a fantastic job, actually, of just controlling the round, winning the round. There's a minute to go in this fight. Now Bahamandez managed to get back up to his feet. And Klein's still controlling the center of the octagon. Ignacio's looking the worse for wear. Both men in the southpaw stance. Left hand by Ignacio Bahamandez. The question is, does nice little left hand landed by Bahamandez. Oh, big left hand landed by Klein again. Bahamandez got a lot of damage to his face already. He's got a mouse under his left eye. He went looking for a flying scissor knee, but ate a left hand for his troubles. Did Bahamandez. Orthodox to southpaw stance. Bahamandez keeps switching. There's 1 second to go. That's the end of the first round. I think as the fight settles and Bahamandez starts to find his range, he could start to do some damage to Klein. But at the moment, this fight's been all Klein. Ludovic Klein. My apologies if I'm saying your name wrong. I can say Ignacio Bahamandez. That's a proper way to say that name. But I don't know if Ludovic Klein is the correct pronunciation. So my apologies. I'm not entirely sure. I also think about Oliver Ekman says Klein's good, man. The Turner fight was awesome. No, he is very good. I just don't know if he's going to last at that pace with that power for the 3 rounds, and whether or not, if he slows down, Bahamandez is going to be able to capitalize that and use his range. And we'll know that in about 2 minutes, I'd say. So we're off. Start of the second round. Klein's goes looking for a home for that left hand again. Ignacio lands another shot. Ignacio lands another inside leg kick. Ignacio switches. His stance comes through, throws a lead left hand, which misses. But I do see in this round already, I do think that the shots from Klein aren't coming with the same snap that they were at the start of the first round. I don't know if Ignacio is going to be able to control the range, though. They're both men in the southpaw stance. Ignacio is looking for a lead left hand. Whoa! Still throws a big left hand, does Klein. Ignacio's coming forward now. He's taking the center of the octagon, lands a nice little jab on Klein. Klein is skirting the peripheries of the octagon. Ignacio goes looking for a knee. Nice kick by Klein, but caught by Ignacio. Left hand by Klein lands. And now Bahamandez is starting to settle into a bit of a rhythm, threw a couple of knees up the middle in the clinch, but lets Klein off the hook by taking him off the periphery of the fence. I like Ignacio being able to back Klein up against the cage and hit him at range. I think that should be the game plan for Bahamandez. Klein goes looking for a takedown and gets it. Ignacio, he has to pop up. He cannot accept being on the ground. He has to post with your left hand, Ignacio. posts with his left hand, he's up, and this is going to start to create problems for Klein, I do think, because when you try and take someone down and they pop back up, that is incredibly tiring. Ignacio has to get up off this cage. Klein is holding him up against the cage, and Ignacio's doing a good job of fighting the hands. He's gone back to fight him, looking for a reverse crossface, hasn't got it, and now he's got the underhooks. He has to get off the cage and make Klein pay, and he has to make him pay now. Oh, he ducks under a left hand by Klein. Good stiff jab by Ignacio Bahamandez, taken on the gloves by Klein. Now the right hand jab lands by Bahamandez. Bahamandez lands a left jab of his own after switching stance, goes under a hook from Klein. The damage on the face is very telling by Bahamandez. The right hand landed by Bahamandez. Not a huge shot. Well, remember, guys, I'm not judging the fight. I'm just commentating on it. Nice leg kick landed by Klein. But Bahamandez starting to keep creeping forward. Nice right hand lands by Klein. Swing and a miss, but left hand by Klein. Right leg to the body, partially blocked by Klein. Bahamandez starting again, once again to take the center of the octagon. Nice little calf kick landed by Bahamandez. Right high kick landed, but partially landed by Bahamandez. Bahamandez goes looking for a jumping front switch kick. Mark Davis says, good to see you back, buddy. I'm glad to be back. Mark, how are you? This is a very close round. I don't know who's winning this round. I think definitely the first round was won by Klein. I don't know if this round is won by Bahamandez. Nice shots to the body by Klein. They were big shots to the body by Klein. Goes looking for a left hand, partially lands, does a left hand of Klein. Now Klein's starting to land some more shots to the body of Bahamandez. Landed a nice front kick to the body then. Bahamandez tries to answer with one of his own. I think Bahamandez is hurt to the body. Klein starting a swing for the fences. Nice jab landed by Bahamandez. Bahamandez again goes for another jumping switch kick. Klein gets out of the way. Switches stance, does Bahamandez, and lands a right hand jab of his own. Klein goes looking for a takedown and gets a good job by Klein with 30 seconds to go. Bahamandez looking for submissions from the bottom, but he's not going to get him. He looks more fatigued than he was, and now Klein is slippery. Klein is on top. He's got him stacked up against the cage. He's in a lot of trouble. He goes looking for some elbows, but Klein just pushes his head forward and kind of flattens out, and that's the end of the round. A round that I do believe has now been won by Klein. There was a stage there where it was kind of close, but I could have maybe been edging it to Bahamandez, but now I've got Bahamandez down 2 rounds. And I don't know that he's going to come out of this deficit at any stage. I don't think he's going to come out of this fight like this. I don't think. And he's wearing a lot of damage. He's got a bit of a mouse under his left eye. He's got a cut over his left eye as well. He looks like he may have another cut near his right eye. If that's not just the blood from the original, they're separate cuts. So he's banged up quite a bit. I can't imagine that would be fun. And he's taken some big shots to the body from Klein. So yeah, it'll be hard for him to come back from this, I think. He's 2 rounds down, and I don't see him having the power to stop Klein either. And Klein already knows that he can take him down and hold him down, and there's not a real submission threat. So, yeah. And the problem is Ignacio Bahamandez knows this too. We're off, people. They shake hands in the middle of the octagon. They trade jabs. Right kick by Bahamandez. Klein feints a little takedown. I think he's going to come with an overhand left in a second. He's going to feint again the takedown. Then he's going to hit him with an overhand left, I think. I would have liked to see someone with this kind of range throwing more straight shots down the middle, like front kicks in opposing stance, like southpaw or orthodox. I would have liked to see him throw some of those. I would have liked to have seen him throw a few more of those things. Ignacio Bahamandez initiated the clinch. He's pushed Klein up against the cage. Knee to the body by Bahamandez. There's 4 minutes to go. Klein gets himself off the cage. Bahamandez is doing a good job of keeping Klein's back to the cage. He's looking for a right high kick and misses. Looks for a jab. 1-2 from Klein. The problem is that Klein can fight at this pace and he's going to win this fight, even if he lost this round. And Bahamandez really needs a finish, and I don't think he's got one in him. Outside of Klein maybe ducking into a knee or something, I just don't see the finish. He goes looking for a takedown. He's got a single leg, does Bahamandez, but Klein's already doing a good job of defending. He could even reverse this, I think. I think he's going to be able to sprawl out and take the back. I think that's what's going to happen here. And I see that Bahamandez will probably go to guard. I don't see him finishing this. I don't see him turning the corner on this at all. Yep, there's a sprawl. Klein went to look for the back, but now he just got to his feet. Spinning back kick attempt by Bahamandez is like a spinning wheel kick, misses completely. And that takes a lot of energy out of you, like late in the fight. Left high kick, swing and a miss by Klein. Right punch by Bahamandez. Nothing really landing by either guy. 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Bahamandez, I think, is not going to... I don't think he's going to get finished, but I don't think anything's going to happen in this fight. Like, that's... I don't think Klein's going to take a huge risk either, because he's already winning comfortably. Right high kick, swing and a miss by Bahamandez. Bahamandez goes looking for a switch knee up the middle with 2 minutes to go. Klein goes looking for a takedown. Gets it. Bahamandez absolutely exhausted. His guard is no shields up in half guard. He hasn't got the underhook. He's in a lot of problems here on the bottom. If he wanted to, Klein could pass the thing. Are side kicks allowed in MMA? Don't see too many of them being thrown, especially to the liver. What do you mean, like a side kick? Yeah, side kicks are, of course, they're allowed in MMA. Wonderboy Thompson uses them really, really well. He's probably the best example of someone that uses side kicks in MMA. The problem with a lot of those kind of kicks as well, it's not the kick itself. Oh, he was in not really deep for the triangle, Bahamandez, but he did throw up a submission. It wasn't close though. Klein is very savvy to it. He's going to just sit in the guard. Big elbow thrown by Bahamandez. Lands on the top of the head. But it's not going to be enough. There's not enough elbows and there's not enough offense coming from the bottom that it's going to make any significant difference in this round, or that he's going to be able to finish it. I'm going to speak on that in a second, SG. And it's funny that you said, yep, Taekwondo style, and I'll explain why. Klein's going to hold this round out. There's 21 seconds to go. Yeah, he's not... Bahamandez is trying to get to his feet. He got to his feet, and Klein is holding him up against the cage, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to hold him there. There's 9 seconds to go. Bahamandez goes looking for a rolling knee bar, and he's not going to get it. Klein's already celebrating. 1 second to go, and that's a wrap. Yeah, he won it quite comfortably. Now, let's go back to the Taekwondo style kick. That you kind of answered your own question, I think, because number one, you have to throw it effectively, like not just to throw something, but to throw it effectively, you have to have trained that. Like the side kick is most prevalent in Taekwondo and different karate codes like Shotokan, Kyokushin. Even Kyokushin doesn't really throw that kick, like it's not its bread and butter. Primarily Taekwondo, Shotokan, and a few other different types of karate. So you have to have like a kind of background in that, I would say to you, because most of the time people, like if they start training striking, that's not the style of striking you're going to do. You're not going to necessarily, not many people are going to go and do like boxing and taekwondo, which I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm just saying that's not really what you see in the MMA recipe. You know, the MMA starter kit, it's not, taekwondo's not in it, nor is karate. So that's already, doesn't mean you're never going to see it, doesn't mean you can't see it, but that's already one of the reasons why you don't see it. It's not as prevalent. You have to know how to do it. And to kick to the liver, primarily most people are orthodox. So when they're standing, the liver's on the other side, you'd have to be a southpaw to eat that side kick to the liver. So you don't see it as much. But that's the, yeah, Oliver Ekman, it was a train horn. There's a steam train that goes past here a couple of times a day right next to my house. So yeah, you can't, that's probably why you don't see it as much. You would see it more if the person was a southpaw. On that, I think somebody asked a southpaw question earlier. Randy says, can you explain why Drickus knew that Rob would have problems with southpaw? I've never heard him say that in particular. I think what I heard him say, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, anyone. Yeah, no, the liver's on this side, the spleen's on this side. It still wouldn't be pleasant, but the liver's on your right hand side. So I don't know that Drickus said that Rob had problems with. I don't know that Drickus said that Rob had problems with southpaw, because he doesn't. Doesn't. I don't know. The thing that I think that he said, which if you look at the fights, he's correct. Rob gets hit on the switch from orthodox to southpaw, and it makes sense because it's something that will intercept the blitz. I can't go on too much about it, but that would be the thing, you know, to intercept the blitz, you need to put something in between you and him. And when you switch from orthodox to southpaw, you're closer to him when you throw the jab. And that's what Drickus was talking about, I believe. Because if you look back at his fights, and he prepared, whether he prepared for them or fought them is the same thing. You still prepared for him. So prepared for Rockhold. Rockhold was a southpaw. Natal fought in southpaw and orthodox. Gastelum southpaw, Vittori southpaw, Romero obviously a southpaw, Brunson a southpaw, and he beat them all. Like, so he doesn't have problems with the southpaw. He has problems. Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to say he has problems because that's not necessarily what it is. He saw a tendency and he was able to exploit that, you know, and he has been caught with that. So that's, I think, what he was referring to, not so much that he had problems with the southpaw. I believe that from my understanding of what he said. Beetlejuice says, swap the JRE fight companion to watch this. You're way more entertaining. Thank you, sir. Please share, like, and subscribe, guys. I would really appreciate that. Oliver Ekman says, what's up, Beat? And Beetlejuice says, Rob has fought more southpaws than orthodox. There was a run there where he only fought lefties. Yeah, 100% on the money, Beetlejuice. So that's why I'm saying to you, I don't think that's what he necessarily meant. I just think that that's what he was saying, like on the switch and to stop the blitz. And to stop the blitz, you have to put something in the middle. And the other guy that did that well to a certain extent was Natal. Natal didn't so much throw the left hand down the middle or a kick down the middle or a front kick down the middle. These things all affect the blitz, right? Jabs, front kicks. But Natal would also shoot the single leg just to break the rhythm, and that created that made it difficult for the blitz to occur. Beetlejuice says, in all honesty, who would be a good matchup for Rob next? I don't know, man. I think it just depends what you want to do with your career. Like, it depends where you're at. So I can't say, I think this or I think that, because I don't know what you like. It depends what you're trying to achieve in your career. Like, say for example, for me, I won't say about Rob, but say with Volkanovski, Fab, want to see him fight Gaethje. That might not be the best fight for Volkanovski's career, for Gaethje's career, but I would like to see that fight from Volkanovski. I even made a post about it. But that doesn't mean that that's the best fight for Volkanovski's career. That doesn't mean that it's a best move for Gaethje's career. It's just what Fab wants to see. So there's a lot of, that's why it's different. You can't really say that. Sometimes people will take a hard fight because that's the easiest and quickest way back, or easiest, that's the quickest way back to a title, or the guy has a massive following and that's going to get you a big fight or whatever. But then you don't know if the person wants that for whatever reason, or they just want to, they've got different offers on the table. They've got different things they need to look at. So who knows? Beetlejuice says, who would be Alex Pereira? Who would I like to see Alex Pereira fight next? Jerry. I'd like to see him fight Jerry. I'd like to see him fight Jerry for the belt. I think that Pereira is one of those guys that's done enough, like in combat sports, to pretty much only have big fights. You know what I mean? Like I want to see him in fights that he's 36 years old as well. He doesn't have a huge amount of time, if at all. Like Pereira's going to be one of those guys it's not going to be a slow descent for him. You know what I mean? He's going to, start getting caught and whatnot, and that'll be that. And then people are going to say he was never that good, but he's not young, and he fights a style of fight where it's kill or be killed. Literally, a lot of people say that, but he is literally kill or be killed. Like, so he takes a lot of shots, and he gives a lot of shots too, and usually people can't take his shots. So I don't think he's got a lot of time. So I want to see him fight Jerry for the belt. And then I think he's probably going to fight, if he gets a belt, they'll make a trilogy fight with Adesanya for sure. And he was talking about he will go down to middleweight to fight Adesanya. And I think, like, again, there you go. There's a good example. Like, I think that his best work's going to be at light heavyweight, because I think that the weight cut takes a lot out of him. I don't think he is a middleweight fighter. He was a light heavyweight at Glory. They were his last fights. He was fighting already at light heavyweight. So he was a light heavyweight, making a huge weight cut down to middleweight, and he had to do it over and over and over again. So I think that was to his detriment, and I think his best work's going to be at light heavyweight, especially now after getting the Yan fight out of the way, where he's more comfortable in that weight, more comfortable with the power that's coming, comfortable with the range and the strength and the grappling that's going to come with light heavyweight. Now, I think he's a light heavyweight fighter. If he can get past Jiri, and that's going to be no joke, and that's not going to be easy. But I don't see Pereira having too many more fights with the style of fighter that he is. He's not a grappler. He's a striker. SG says Pereira took a lot of damage in Glory as well. Man, fucking so much. And people don't get that as well. Like those guys, like if you look, I'm not going to name people, but if you look, and this is just the guys that got done positive, not the guys that I think, but if you look, guys that are fighting into their 40s, not all of them. I don't want people going, so-and-so's natural. I'm not saying, but I'm saying if you look, guys that are successfully fighting, like even into their late 30s, there's not many that have not tested positive or had some sort of controversy with performance enhancing drugs. Your body's just not made to be like, your testosterone levels naturally drop. I think I was looking at some stats, because I'm going to start doing like a stat breakdown soon. Got a friend of mine who's a mathematician, and he's going to help me putting some stuff together. But if you look, I was looking at some stats. Somebody on the chat said it the other day, but I was looking at some stats. I think when they're over 30 and there's more than 5 years difference, so there's more than 5 years age difference and you're over 30, the younger guy wins 63% of the time. And so that's not the odds aren't in your favor as it goes. One foot out the door says the exception is at heavyweight. The exception I don't really think is at heavyweight versus I don't think that has the same level of talent necessarily as well. There just isn't that many heavyweights running around. I don't think as far as like the testosterone level and that doesn't really change. Beetlejuice says, I'm in an MMA chat WhatsApp group. There are 150 people in the chat from around the world and have shared your channel. Also props on the MMA Guru shout out. Oh, thank you, man. Hey, Beetlejuice, I really appreciate that, man. Tell him to come over here, please. I'll tell you something, man. MMA Guru is a fucking champion. I like him, man. Hey, he's like one of the few guys I'll watch because I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of but he says a lot of true stuff. He says a lot of cool stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of the stuff that he says is 100% true. Yeah. Beetlejuice says, did you see in one championship Musumeci versus a wrestler in a grappling match? I did not. But was that, are you talking about the Sambo guy? The problem with those matches, right, and it always says like, but it's like saying world's best football player loses tennis match to 17-year-old phenom. Like, well, fuck, it's not the sport, it's a different sport. I don't see how a wrestler or even a Sambo guy would beat Musumeci in an actual grappling match. I don't like in that style of grappling. I just don't see it. If you told me that Musumeci beat a wrestler in a wrestling match, I'd be fucking impressed. If you told me, I'm a big fan of Musumeci, by the way, but I don't see I'm like, well, fuck, he should, SG says, on that note, it would be awesome to have Cedric Doumbé, Artem Vakitov, and Rico Verhoeven in the UFC. Man, well, Cedric signed with PFL, if I'm not mistaken. I had him on my podcast, actually. He's a good guy. I don't know that. Give me 1 second. I don't. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, no. I'd love to see those guys. Let me get back to that question after this fight. The boys are about to kick off. These are some big fellows here. Again, this is I don't know who's going to win this fight. I picked wrong in the other one, but I'm picking wrong because Kimura and Bosa, same as the other guys before, I haven't seen enough of my fault. I haven't seen enough of them necessarily. I think Kimura's probably going to get it done if I had to pick one. But yeah, I don't know. Both guys in the orthodox stance, both looking for leg kicks. They look like they're both come in shape, ready to go. They move well for light heavyweights too. Bosa looks a little bit funny on his feet. Oh, they swing in the middle. He looks a little bit like kind of erratic on his feet. And Kimura's got him, pushed him up against the wall. Looking for a takedown. Deep underhooks. They're using a lot of strength early on. Like a lot of strength. You can just see the way that they're pummeling up against the cage. Elbows from Kimura now. Bosa's able to push him up against the cage. So he switched. They're just, man, these guys are going to get tired, I think, Kimura's done a good job of framing off and getting back into the middle of the octagon. Lands a nice stiff jab, does Kimura. Nice jabs exchanged. Kimura just looks the tidier of the two and like more comfortable, more fluent, smoother standing up, whereas Bosa just looks a little bit more stiff, a bit more erratic with his movements. Kimura's doing a good job of holding the center of the octagon behind a nice little relaxed jab. Goes looking once again for the takedown, pushes Bosa up against the cage. Knees up the middle by Kimura. Kimura lands a nice little combination. The body shots you can see already in Bosa, they hurt him. Those body shots hurt. These guys are fucking swinging in the middle of the octagon like it's a fight at Stereosonic for a second there. Now they've settled down. They just swing hard, man. Like now, big jab there landed by Kimura. I don't think this fight's going to go the distance because I reckon unless Bosa catches Kimura, I think Bosa's going to slow down and Kimura's going to hit him with some shots. That's what I think is going to happen in this fight. Nice inside leg kick landed by Kimura, jabbed by Bosa. Bosa throws a front kick up the middle. Kimura answers with a leg kick of his own. Nice shot landed by Bosa. Nice little stiff jab landed by Bosa. Nice exchange of jabs there by both boys. Bosa skirting the periphery of the octagon, lands a couple of shots on Kimura. Lands a knee as well, does Bosa. Both men fighting in the orthodox stance. Oh, nice little body shot landed by Kimura. Exchange of jabs. Bosa goes looking for a right hand, misses it. Kimura pushes him up against the center of the octagon, against the cage, and they both kind of fighting in the clinch. Nice little tie trip by Kimura, but Bosa straight back to his feet. They exchange left hands. Right leg kick landed by Bosa. Little stutter step by Kimura pushes Bosa back to the octagon, but then Bosa takes the center. Front kick by Bosa. Nice little exchange. Oh, nice elbow and a little left hook landed by Bosa. There is 57 seconds to go in the first round. An exchange again by both men. 50 seconds to go now. They exchange left hands. Oh, little elbow landed by Bosa. 35 seconds to go. Bosa's a tough man. Oh, it seems that Kimura might have slowed down, but he lands a nice jab on Bosa. Oh, rip to the body, lands by Kimura, pushes Bosa up against the cage once again. There's 16 seconds to go. A little elbow landed by Bosa. Bosa goes looking for a right head kick, taken on the arms by Kimura. Kimura goes looking for, pushes him up against the cage again. There's 3 seconds to go. 2, 1. I think Kimura may have edged that round. I like this. I like the strikers. Like I like Cedric. Like I think if I had to pick, right, and I could be, you have to be decent. Like you have to be good at everything. But if I could pick being an elite, I think it's easier for you to be a good striker and be, decent and competent at grappling and be able to apply that in MMA than the other way around. Just because it's easier to destroy than to create. So it's easier for you to stuff a takedown and or get back to your feet than it is to get a takedown and hold someone down. And then if you're the better striker, then the fight starts to play out on its feet. Now, if people say to me, blah, 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 grapplers, wrestlers, look at Khabib and that. No, there's no doubt that it's terrifying if you fight a guy that can grapple you and can actually apply it. I'm just saying it's probably easier to apply the other way around. Beetlejuice says, I'm not familiar with BJJ and wrestling. Would a top-tier wrestler lose against a top-tier BJJ guy in a real situation? We'll get to that in 1 second. So round 2, we're off. And Kimura once again holding the center of the octagon. Bosa kind of going around the peripheries. Man, these guys swing and they just miss each other. They do like the little stereosonic fight. Bosa is in deep on a single leg, misses it. Now he's got Kimura pressed up against the octagon and he's throwing a few punches up the middle, but nothing doing. He is looking for a single leg, but I don't think he's going to get it. Throws that knee to the legs, stomps on the feet, does Bosa, but he does need to make this kind of fight. He needs to be the one on the being the aggressor because there's not much between them. Like there's not much to pick from in this fight, you know. But whoever's pushing the other guy up against the cage is the one that's showing the difference, so to speak. Although that's not part of the criteria, it's still going to affect what the referees see. Bosa's landing shot after shot on Kimura. He landed some big shots. Kimura's got a chin on him. Jesus, he landed some shots. Big left hooks, inside leg kick by Kimura. He answers. Man, these guys are tough. They land a jab each. But these jabs that they're landing would legit kill me if they landed a jab like this. Right hand lands by Bosa. If they landed that jab on me. Nice right kick lands. Calf kick landed by Kimura. Elbow over the top by Bosa. This is like, if you're a cooking fan, it's like that David Chang show, Ugly Delicious, because this is like a good ugly fight, you know. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Shout out to David Chang. Not that he needs my fucking shout out. And so Bosa has pushed him up against the cage, and he's doing basically what Kimura did in the first round. He's doing that to Kimura now. Knees up the middle by Kimura. And Bosa's looking for that single leg. Oh, nice little 1-2 land, 2-1 rather, lands by Bosa, and they're kind of exchanging big shots there in the middle. Bosa's really going for it in this round. It's 2 minutes and 34 seconds to go. But now I was about to say I think Bosa's going to get tired doing that. But they're just bashing each other now. Bosa's landing some big shots on Kimura. Kimura's taking him. My Lord. And Bosa once again looks for that right underhook that he uses to set up the single leg, which he's going for. But Kimura has the right underhook on the far side with 2 minutes and 13 seconds to go in this round. Kimura once again is looking to get both underhooks in and get himself off the cage. Man, Bosa's definitely winning this round. He's landing the more shots, and he's doing what Kimura did to him and pushing him up against the cage. I think it's going to, if it keeps going like this, it's going to be a round apiece. I'm not judging this fight at all. I'm the one commentating on it, so it's not the same thing. But that's probably how I see it at this stage. With Bosa pushing him up against the cage with 1 minute, 43 seconds to go. Oh, big shots, big combinations landed by Bosa. They exchange a pair of jabs. I think Kimura has to keep looking for front kicks to the body. Rips to the body of Bosa because he has to slow him down. Bosa's going to keep coming forward. Nice double jab landed by Bosa. And then a big left hook lands. Right little elbow lands there by Kimura. Big shots landed by Bosa. Bosa pushes him up against the cage. Once again, he has an underhook, does Kimura, and he's still defending this. But the head position has been won by Bosa. Bosa goes once again looking for that single leg. I don't think he's going to get it. There's 50 seconds to go. Oh, he stumbles him a little bit, does Kimura. He stumbles him with the left hand, but Bosa recovers and he gets once again up against the cage. He's pushing Kimura up against the cage. There's 25 seconds to go. Bosa still looking for that single leg. Kimura's doing a good job of defending. 10 seconds to go. 5 seconds to go. They're in the center of the octagon. They both swing for the fences. No one really connects. Partially connected now by Kimura, and that's the round there. I think it's a round apiece. It's going to be interesting how this ends up being. Beetlejuice says, I'm not familiar with BJJ and wrestling. Would a top-tier wrestler lose against a top-tier BJJ guy in a real situation? Can you define a real situation, Beetlejuice? Do you mean in a street fight? Like, I think it depends. When you have two top-tier guys like that, it depends what their other skills are, and it depends the style of grappler that they are too. So, like, for example, there are BJJ guys that have really good takedowns that are top players, you know. They'll get you down, get on top, and they're not really guard guys. Their guard guys, like their guard's still good compared to anyone that's not a BJJ guy. But then there's top players in BJJ, and I think that guy would probably struggle against a wrestler more so than someone like a Craig Jones that's going to be just fuck. I don't care if I'm on my back or whatever. You're going to get leg locked, That's a different kind of person as well. But then it depends what their other attributes are. Who's got the better striking and whatnot. If they're gonna actually fight. Also, it's a real situation. If you mean self-defense, I would say the better self-defense is something like judo or wrestling, just because they have the takedown element, the ability to stop takedowns, and you're probably going to get on top. And again, it will also depend on what your striking ability is like. We'll get back to that in a second. So the third round started. And just from the way both these guys fight, it's going to be interesting because whoever starts pushing the other guy against the wall, and that's what Bosa has been able to do straight away, I think he's going to win this fight because this is both of them fighting this game. So here, Kimura has to get that other underhook and get off the cage and not give up any more of this time. If not, that's how Bosa is going to win this fight. Bosa is going to keep looking for that single leg. His framing is Kimura, but if he frames with that elbow, with that right elbow, as he frames, he should lift the chin. Lift the chin and go to his own right, which is what he kind of did then. Now he has to fight out here. He can't get pushed up against the cage anymore. And this goes for both of them. Now they're kind of both in the center of the octagon. Kimura is creeping up on him. And big shots landed by Bosa. Big shots, a left and a right. And now they clinch and he pushes Kimura up against the fence again. This is where I'd like to see. Kimura he's got a left overhook, right? And now Bosa's hands are connected on that single leg. And this is where he could try and finish this, but I don't think he's gonna be able to finish it. I don't think he's got the juice to finish it necessarily. And he's doing a fantastic job of defending his Kimura. But what I'd like to see Kimura is frame with his right hand or get the underhook with his right and then step to his right and get out of there. Bosa's aborted the mission of trying to get the takedown. They're trading in the center. Big shots landed by both of them. Right hand over the top, a swing and a miss by Kimura. Hits, I think, I couldn't see clearly. I think he kicked him flush in the fucking legs and did he's chopping away at the legs of Bosa. Here's Kimura with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go. He's been landing the leg kicks this whole fight. I don't know if it's starting to wear exactly enough on Bosa at this point. Now Bosa has once again pushed Kimura up against the center of the octagon, and Kimura is defending. There's 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Is he going to be able to get off the cage again and do some more damage? Or is Bosa going to be able to hold him here and more or less, I think, steal the fight if he manages to do that? They both landed big shots on each other, man. There's a lot of damage to Kimura's face as well. Okay, now they're going back into the center of the octagon. There's 2 minutes to go. I have no idea who's winning this fight. 0. Oh. Nice exchanges there. But they're both guys are exhausted. If Bosa is able to push Kimura up against the cage again, he's going to win this fight with 1 minute and 34 seconds to go. Now they're kind of just like hitting each other, but Kimura has pushed him up against the cage. Now Bosa has his back to the cage. Bosa's going to push. He's pushed Kimura back up against the cage himself. Now he's got the better head position. Kimura has to get off the cage. He has to get off the cage if he wants to win this fight. Bosa has a single leg. Loses it. 59 seconds to go. Pushing him up against the cage is Bosa. Bosa's gone to the center of the octagon. Kimura looks exhausted. And so does Bosa, to be honest with you. Oh, left hook lands by Bosa. They both exchange left hooks. Combination landed by each of them. Oh, my God. These guys are just cracking each other. Bosa's hitting him over and over. And lands a knee, lands a left hand and a right hand. It's all taken by Kimura with 30 seconds to go. These guys are standing now in the center of the octagon. They're exhausted. Kimura's coming forward. I think Bosa's done enough to win to this point, but there's 30 seconds to go. And victory is not a foregone conclusion at this stage for Bosa. 20 seconds to go. And I think that's going to be the wrap. I think Bosa's going to be able to get this. 12 seconds to go. 10 seconds to go. Stomping on the feet of Kimura is Bosa. Oh, big elbows landed by Bosa. No time left on the clock. And that's a wrap, guys. Gentlemen, shake hands. I do think that Bosa probably won that one. So, yeah, going back to what we were talking about before we got interrupted by these guys fighting. Yeah, so the thing I was saying before was like it depends if you're talking about them fighting each other. That's not the same thing as what's best for self-defense. I think what's best for self-defense is any of the grappling arts that have an emphasis on the takedown, I think is number one. And number two would be any striking art to complement that, because I don't think if you can't strike, you're in a lot of trouble when you're defending yourself. Having said that, if you're talking about people you're defending yourself, then like the same way that the wrestling ground game will be enough against untrained people by far, the same way judo ground game will be enough against untrained people by far. BJJ, even if just the fact that even if you're a guard puller and you just grab someone and like kind of tussle with them and take them down, you're probably going to land on top and you're going to look for mount. So that will be enough as well. You know, like it's not, I don't, it's different to you're not fighting a guy that's going to stuff your takedowns and the rest of you talking about just for self-defense. So you got to just do a striking art and a grappling art. Randy says, hey Fab, do you know anything I'm going to imagine that you wrote, do you know anything about Musumeki's diet? I don't know anything about Musumeki's diet outside of what I've seen, like just on the internet. And I don't know, like, because when you're young, you can get away with a lot of things. I don't know about taking that amount of calories all in one sitting. You know, I can't imagine that would be good for your digestive system. But he's a young guy, and when you're a young guy, you can get away with anything. I'm not talking about Musumeki now. I'm not talking about Musumeki right now with what I'm about to say. I'm just talking about people in general. Sometimes when you're watching people and they're talking about their diets and they're talking about their training, you know, a lot of these people aren't natural. You know what I mean? So you can't. And I'm not judging that. I'm fine. You do take whatever you want. The only thing that I would say to that though is, like, your advice to people that are not on, you know, performance enhancing substances are null and void, because like it's not applicable. You've changed the parameters of the situation, of the conversation, rather. So that's all. I think it's fine. Beetlejuice says, I have nearly 10 years boxing under my belt. I still train at Stand Strong. I'm starting wrestling this week at a gym at Preston's. That's whose gym is that? Is that the Grappling Lab? Shout out to the Grappling Lab. Shout out to Nate Ellery and Estrada there, I think, are the coaches at Preston's. Curious why you mentioned BJJ is good with Muay Thai and wrestling is good with boxing. Oh, the reason I say that is because Muay Thai has a great clinch. For those that don't know, Muay Thai has, and everyone's going to say, oh, I know this, but I'm just saying, Muay Thai has a fantastic clinch and it has takedowns of its own. And so that gives you like really good ability to get takedowns, stop takedowns, knee, combat, blah, blah, blah. And then obviously the BJJ ground game is what it is. And wrestling has the clinch itself and it has the takedowns, but then it has the striking if you do it in combination with boxing. So they kind of, there's good overlaps between those two kinds of martial arts. Having said, dude, if you don't even have to be that good, if you're like a blue belt in jiu-jitsu and you've boxed for a couple of years and you've done like you've had 5 hard sparring sessions in your life, you're gonna beat the fuck out of a normal, like kind of drunk uncle kind of character, like not, yeah. Says Oliver Ekman says, yeah, have fun starting wrestling, you'll love it. Yeah, where are you going to be wrestling at, Beetlejuice? Yeah, as far as the diet and that, I'd just be really careful when you see stuff online and that about what people are doing, because like there's a lot of things, man. Your genetics matters a lot. People can get away with, if you have good genetics. If you have good genetics, you're young, that's already going to be very different to what normal people are going to be able to achieve. And if you have good genetics, you're young and you're on drugs, it's a completely different story. It's a completely different playing field. This Diego Nunes character is fucking good. He's good, man. I think he's going to win this fight. He's good. He's a very, very good fighter. Give me 1 second, guys. Because this is. You're just laughing at me. I am back, people. What's this in? Oh, somebody mentioned the Arona and Rampage fight. Yeah, but again, this is not like how, you're not gonna fight a guy like that if you're talking about self-defense. So Beetlejuice says Rampage was a machine back in the day. Now it seems like he has CTE. Man, it's Beetlejuice says, thanks, bro. Yes, the grappling lab. I'm very excited. Man, they're great guys. I've known Nate for 20 years maybe, Probably, yeah, something like this, or 16, 15, maybe 20 years. He's a good guy, man. He's a very, very good guy. And Estrada, young Estrada, I think the coaches are wrestling there. I used to coach him when he was a kid, and he's a really good kid, man. You can't knock those guys. They're very good boys, man. They're very good guys. Nate's a very good guy, and there's good guys around him as well. So, it's good. Beetlejuice says, sounds like the kids are watching Mary Poppins in the background. What show is that? There's no show on at my house, mate. This is just them fucking screaming all day. They're animals, man. The CTE is hard, man. People don't understand. Like, it's not just the shots you're taking at training. It's not just a shot you're taking in the fight. It's a shot you're taking at training as well. This is the big thing. Oliver Aikman says, do you hear Fab singing to his kids in the background, mate? I'm not singing to them. They're fucking murdering me, mate. They're murdering me. Those kids are monsters. They are little monsters. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, if you've boxed for 10 years, Beetlejuice, you'll be fucking sweet, mate. you'll be sweet. This is the big thing again here with Diego Lopez. One, I think Diego Lopez is very good. He's got a longer reach. He's taller and he's much younger. He's almost 10 years younger, dude. I think Diego Lopez is going to bash Gavin Tucker. Gavin Tucker's good, but he's not going to beat Diego Lopez, I don't think. And Diego Lopez got really good ground game too. Yeah, I don't see Gavin Tucker getting past this. Interesting, interesting matchup here. On last thing I saw was that they said that they 100% the fight Israel versus Strickland was going to happen. So I hope that it actually does go forward, because otherwise at Sydney card, whilst the fighters are like all the fighters are good, I've got nothing against the fighters, but it's like I'd like to see. Well, I'd like to see Israel fight Strickland. To be honest with you, I do want to see that fight. I want to see Strickland get his shot. You know what I mean? I think that's, um, if you're a fan, you're good. And Strickland's good, man. I remember when he fought Tom DeBreese, and he was an up and comer, and I didn't think that Sean Strickland was going to be able to beat him, and Sean Strickland did. And that's since then it put it on the map for me, like how good this guy was. This guy's always been a good fighter, so that's going to be interesting. Beetlejuice says, in your professional opinion, what should the pros up and comers do to prevent or slow down CTE? Apologies if it's a dumb question. No, I don't think it's a dumb question. I think it's a fantastic question. I'll tell you something that I do think is important. Oh fuck, we're off. Sorry, I'll come back to that. 434, the first round. Tucker landed the mother of all nut shots to Diego Lopez, and Diego Lopez is fucking feeling it. Just landed like left high kick right into the crotch. And that, oh my God, that landed right up the middle. Boom. Oh my God. It landed on the cup, and even if it lands on the cup, it fucking hurts. You got to understand how much this fucking hurts. Oh, fuck, he landed it so hard. I I think that number one is, this is my opinion on it. Number one is, if boxing, let's just say boxing. When I say boxing, I'll probably say boxing, but I mean any striking. Oh, we're off again. 4:32 to go. I'll come back to that. All right. Inside leg kick attempt by Lopez. So we're fighting orthodox to southpaw, with Tucker being in a southpaw stance. Tucker throws a punch from a switch, overhand from a switch stance, but misses. Diego Lopez is holding the center of the octagon as Tucker is skirting the outside. One thing I don't like is a little bit is, Lopez gets taken down by Tucker, but straight away Lopez throws up the triangle. The triangle is not in yet. It's not locked in, but I don't think that it's going to. Lopez also looking for an armbar. I think he's going to get this because Tucker's not defending this correctly. He's trying to pull out of this armbar, but not in the correct. Trying to pull out of the triangle, but he's not quite out. He's got one of his other hands in. He's going to get caught here. He's looking for an armbar. Is Lopez, and he's cinching in the arm. The triangle cinched in. Yep, he's got the armbar in deep. He's got, that's a wrap. Well done by Diego Lopez. That was a fantastic triangle armbar sequence there by Diego Lopez. No joke, mate. No joke whatsoever, this guy. I thought Diego Lopez was just going to starch him, to be honest with you, and he did. Well, he didn't knock him out, but he beat him, obviously. Okay. That was I like that, man. So he got hit with a single leg, and then he jumped into a flying triangle from the single leg. And before people go and say, "Well, should he have not have done that?" Not everyone has the ability to do fucking flying triangle arm bars. Then the way, he just had that in so deep. And I said that from the start, he just wasn't defending the triangle correctly. Like just the way he was trying to kind of pull out of it, he wasn't. He wasn't defending that right. And then he got armbarred. Toby says something here that's right as well. He says, knowing my dad and granddad's issues with the head, I just can't go and spar as much as it's not fun getting early dementia. Toby says some people can take damage better than others, right? 100%. That was something I was just about to say when you're saying that. I think that if you're not, this is just my opinion in a perfect world and people aren't going to, but if you're not someone that is going to go somewhere with fighting, like if you're not, and this is just a reality check and a lot of people can't take this, but if you're not someone that's going to go somewhere with your fighting, like if you're not going to make a living from fighting, then you shouldn't be sparring, because sparring, you might want to spar a little bit just to get used to, okay, this is what it means if I got into a fight. You want to know just for curiosity's sake. But other than that, taking shots to the fucking head for fun is stupid. It's fucking stupid. If you're doing that, you shouldn't be doing it. Even if you can take a shot, it's still no good for you. You're not going to get anything out of that. You're just going to get fucking hurt. So I'd advise you not to do that if just for fun. That's just stupid. And some people can take shots and some people can't. And if you wanted to fight, say you want to fight pro, or you want to go to the Olympics as an amateur boxer, this is good. This is fine. I understand this. There's a risk-return ratio that you should be applying there. But let's say that's what you want to do, and you're going in there and you're getting fucking rocked at training, when you're sparring, then it's not for you. If you're getting hurt like that and you're going home and you're dizzy and you're getting headaches, I'll tell you, me, I can't take shots like that. Even me, when I've sparred and I take shots, I've got like a little head, man. I'm built like a fucking interior decorator. I'm not built to take shots like this. You know what I mean? And I'm not made for that. Like when I take the shots, I can feel it. You know what I mean? And there's other dudes that probably don't feel that. I'm not going to keep playing around with that. So I don't spar. If I move around now, fuck Toby, you're in my head, mate. I was about to say that if I move around now, I'll move around light. Even I have a thing where I do with some of the guys, you don't even wear gloves, because if you wear gloves, you tend to hit each other a little bit heavier, a little bit harder. And I've got no interest in it. If you have closed fists, then you're more aware that about person's distance. You're not going to swing as hard. You're not trying to hurt each other. You're just trying to move and learn and figure out what you're doing. Of course, if the people are a little bit better, then you might put gloves on and you can move like a little bit different as well. But man, you don't want to be taking shots to the head. And you don't want to be taking shots to the head if you're going nowhere with it. If you think you're going to go somewhere and it's legit and you have to spar or whatever, that's different. That's a different thing. And like I said, it's a risk-return ratio. You look at it, what am I risking? What am I going to get in return? This is different. This is a different story. I also don't know. I think people still spar too much. And I think there's different times in your life where you do need to spar. And there's other times where you don't. There's other times where you've done all the hard sparring you're going to do, and you might just need one or two things to get your timing right. It's the easiest form of training, because it's the most sport-specific training you're going to do. And the problem is, man, when you're young, no matter what people say to you with anything in life, no matter what they say to you, you don't understand that until later. When you go, fuck, I should have listened. I should have stretched more. I should have sparred less. I should have invested, then you only realize that later, and you can't go back and change it, so people don't get it. A lot of the times people are like, man, I sparred hard and, sparred hard twice, 3 times a week, and I'm all right now, and I'm all right, and I'm 42. And number one is probably not all right. I'll probably get a a more broader feedback from people if you're all right or not. That's number one. Number two is you don't know how you're going to be when you're 55, if you're 40 and you're saying that. Toby says, be picky with who you spar with. Seen some guys spar and just made a note of never sparring them myself. Dude, I do that, like even with grappling. Like now I'm 43 years old. I don't, there's people I don't grapple, man. That's it. And I say it to people that at the gym, like I just say to them, like, don't like you don't have to, like when you're at the gym, and this is, we're talking about BJJ gym too, where you're not getting hit to the head, but there's still trauma to your back, to your neck, to your knees, to your joints. You don't fucking have to, like somebody goes, let's roll, and they're a fucking moron and they grappled too hard and they've been told, and they're young guys or big guys or whatever. You don't have to fucking roll with them. Just say, no, I'm not fucking interested. Thank you. No. You know what I mean? Like I'll just say to people, even, no, man, I'm good. You know, like what am I gonna achieve? You know, even if I tap the guy and what's that going to achieve? Nothing. I'm not there to hurt myself, or not even hurt myself. Just like being more sore and more hurt than I need to be. Nah, fuck off. SG says yoga is underrated, very good for mobility and flexibility, especially for BJJ and MMA. I think flexibility training is one of the most underrated things and underused things that you can possibly do, in particular as men. I have to make 100% effort to make sure that I get my stretches in, and that's just to be normal. I'm not even fucking flexible. It's just to be normal, you know, because if you're doing like any type of resistance type training, you're going to find yourself so tight, you know, at the moment. Like now I know I'm going to have to stretch later today. And the grappling is resistance. Like you are pushing and pulling against people in different ways. Toby says, communication before you spar, just let the other dude know what you want. It saves you having to stop midway and say something. Yeah, look, man. Yes, in general, but what I found, if you are a fucking retard that spars too hard, the conversation probably isn't going to help, because that person's not listening to themselves. The inner monologue that says, look, nobody likes you, nobody wants to roll with you, number one. And number two, they're not going to listen to you now saying something to them. They're not, you know. So a lot of the times, just avoidance is the best. You've seen the guy, you've seen how they act, just avoid them. SG says yoga is one player BJJ. Look, man, at the end of the day, BJJ, you need to do stretching and yoga to do BJJ. BJJ in and of itself is not going to make you more flexible. What happens is a lot of people that are more flexible than others excel in a particular style of BJJ. It doesn't necessarily make you more flexible. That's why the guys that are like older are fucking tight. Your whole body's tight, you know, as you start to do jiu-jitsu and you get older. So the stretching, you need to do it if you're going to do BJJ. SG says, the young kids always take it too far in sparring. I may have been one of those young kids in the past. Yeah, 100%. But I think the real test is when you watch some of those young guys with older people. You know, if those young guys are going hard with older people, then or with the girls that are in the gym or something like this, then there's something wrong with that person, man. There's fucking sorry. Like or not just older people. If you're going super hard with someone that can't fight or that can't roll, you know, and you have to fucking school ride their face, you're an idiot. Like you're not a tough guy. You're not a cool guy. You're a fucking moron. You know, like you're not. It's not like, oh, I've only got one switch, bro. Fucking jump on there. Like, bet you don't have the fucking switch if Mark Hunt comes in the room. You know what I mean? Like, I bet you don't switch to fucking psycho when Ray Sefu walks in. I bet you're like, oh, can I get your fucking shoes, sir? You know, like it's not that guy. So that's what I mean. Like if there's a guy that goes like that, you talking to him is not going to help. Just avoid him, you know. And those people, two guys that are sparring hard that are both like the same, it is what it is. That's fine. But you hitting someone that's not is a different thing. SG says, especially the fighters that jump from gym to gym looking for people to fight. Man, it's a funny thing. One sec, I just want to make sure that I've got Kennedy's walking out now. One sec. This thing's dropping in and out. Yeah, that's, man, with that, like the people that jump from gym to gym, there's nothing wrong with that either, but you just got to understand, like, is that what this cat's doing that's turned up to your gym, you know? And it depends what your gym policy is and what your outcome, your intended outcome for your clientele is. There's nothing wrong with, like, I got a little gym at the moment. It's like a kind of little upmarket fitness studio, but it's for BJJ and boxing. We have a members only policy. People will say, well, you shouldn't, you know, you should be blah, 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 and not this. But I don't need the people that are training at my gym are not training to be world champions. They're not training to do that at this stage. And if I have some guys that I'm looking after, that's in a private setting, in a private classes, it's a different thing. But generally, the people that are coming to the gym are guys that, you know, professionals at my age, bit younger guys. They just want to go in somewhere and train. They're not looking to compete. They're not looking to be world beaters. They just love training and doing jiu-jitsu and is something different. You know, they're all primarily white belts. I don't need some dude coming in and hurting them. That's not what I need. So you don't need those guys. And what people don't realize is I'm running a business. That's my business model. And you can do what you want with yours, you know, and you can have one casual visit that pays me $20 or $30 or whatever. And the guy comes in and goes too hard with some stockbroker or some shit. I lose that person and their network of people from a business perspective. What for? For you, for your ego? Fuck off. No way. Randy says, what constitutes a toxic gym? I think it just depends what, like I was just saying a second ago, I think it just depends what your business model is and what your desired outcomes are. I'm sure my business model and I'm sure my gym to some people would be seen as toxic because it's a little gym. It's a members only gym. You have to wear a uniform. It's nice and tidy and clean and follows a lot of traditional kind of things in some ways, in others not. Yeah, like it's safe, you know, it's clean. I'm a Nazi with people walking on the mats with dirty shoes or not with shoes in general, with dirty feet or hygiene. I don't like people like not being nice to each other or not looking after each other. And I'm sure that's probably toxic to people. I'm sure some people think that gym should be just completely based on how good of a grappler you are. I'm just talking about, you know, grappling, just how good of a grappler you are and nothing else. And that's fine if that's your business model, you know, if that's what you want to do. And I think that's fine. But not everyone has that desired outcome. If like that's not what I want. Oliver Ekman says clean, safe, and tidy, very toxic. Yeah, no, but it is meant to some people. Some people, why do we have to wear uniforms? And I think because you work on a fucking construction site, you fucking dickhead, and you are going to wear the same clothes that you wore on the construction site on the mats. I've seen this. I've seen people do this. I've seen people wear the same shorts that they wore landscaping on the mats. Not at my gym, but I've seen it at other gyms. And so that is fucking horrible to me. That is dirty. If the guys at my gym that work construction, for example, they'll come in, they shower, and they have to put a uniform on, and then they can go on the mats. This might be toxic to you. I don't know. Some people, the big thing is, well, it shouldn't matter. If that guy can roll, that's all that should matter. You don't have to say hello to anyone. It doesn't matter if you're a nice guy. It doesn't matter. It just matters how good of a grappler you are. And I think good for you. To me, that's not really the environment I want. There's a reason why people wear uniforms, at least at my gym, you know. It's not because It's actually would be cheaper for me if you didn't. If I just said to people, wear whatever you want. I have to pay for uniforms, and they're in shrinkage. Like I have to pay for shrinkage, if you know what I mean. Like I have to have a whole bunch of uniforms that's costing me money. Not I'm not making money. You know what I mean from it. But the problem is that it comes down to hygiene for me. And it comes down to me knowing what you're going to be wearing is clean. I know that you didn't wear that gi around on the train, for example, unless you're a complete madman. You wore the rashi or the t-shirt from the gym. You're only wearing it on the mats. And so I know that it's clean. You're not wearing that shirt around, so this is a big thing to me. SG says other sports have the uniform indoor outfit rule as well. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I have spaghetti bolognese or fettuccine actually. SG says other sports have the uniform indoor outfit rule as well. It seems reasonable. Yeah, I mean, it's in fashion nowadays that you don't have to wear stuff and blah blah blah. But I think, like, for me, it also helps to wean people out. Like if I say, well, this is what you have to do, we only have a members only policy and blah 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 blah, and somebody goes, oh no, fuck, I don't know. Well, then it's not the gym for you. It's the same way that if I go somewhere else to train and they're like, oh no, we don't care what uniform you wear. You don't have to be a member. You just pay your money, and however good you are, that's how good you are, and good luck to you in there. If I go there and then I walk out going, I can't believe people rolled too hard on me and they hurt me. That's fucking, what do you think was going to happen? Yeah, man. Like people don't give a shit, man. Like people are fucking dirty, dude. I've seen all sorts of shit in my time with grappling and that. And I'm not going to be, I'm not going to put myself in a position to catch staph or crazy shit like that. I've had it many fucking times, and it's not fun. Beetlejuice says, Fab, it's not letting me send super chats. Not sure if it's just me or your settings. No, I think it's you, because I've received super chats in the past. By all means, Beetlejuice, try again. Okay, the boys are about to start off. I think I don't know who's going to win this one. Jacoby is tidier with his stand-up, I think, but I think Kennedy might get it done. Yeah, no, I've seen people. Let me just check one sec. I'll be back. Sorry, guys, I missed the opening minute of the round. I went to check with the thing. Oh, Kennedy's down! Right hand, Jacoby. Nice big shots by Jacoby. Oh, and that's the wrap. What a fuck. I thought he was, like I said, I thought he was tidier. He'd be too tidy for Kennedy, but there you go. I was checking the super chats from Beetlejuice asked me, and apparently now the super chats are good, but I missed it. The freaky fast finish. It's just different. Like, I think when you've had like Jacoby's a good kickboxer. He's had some really high level kickboxing bouts. It's just, they're just tidy, man, with the ability to get it done. Man. Got hit right on the button there with that right hand. It crumbled him. Hugs all round from each other. Lots of firm, manly handshakes with the opposing team coaches, having polite conversation, and that was it. SG says that is what we call a check right hook. Nah, I don't think that was a check right hook. The one that at the end there where he knocked him out, it looked, I didn't see it exactly. Now that you've said this, it seems like he got him with a right hand, but he's standing from orthodox stance, and that looked more like a kind of like a straight right kind of punch. Could be what was a bit of a hook, but now check hook would have been if he had got him. If you can you see me, SG, or you just you can. A check hook is more like, see on my lead hand here, the guy's coming forward and I'm stepping back, and as I'm stepping back like that, I throw the hook. Doesn't have to be so much stepping back. I kind of accentuated it, but it's a check over. It's a hook over the top. That's a check hook. That was more like a right hand. It had a bit of a loop on it, a bit of a hook on it, but it was like a right hand down the middle kind of thing. It had a loop. You could call it a hook. I wouldn't have called it a hook, but I'm not against you calling it a right hook. You can call it a right hook at whatever your dinner parties if you like. But make sure you use that check hook example that I gave. You know who throws the check hooks really well? Diaz. Diaz throws those check hooks. He does a good job of that. So yeah. There's Jacoby. Shaking hands with Bisping. What were we talking about before we got interrupted by these guys fighting again? Yeah, so going back to the toxic gyms, etc. Yeah, it just depends, man. I just seen horror stories. I've seen dudes not giving a flying. SG says I'm Taekwondo man, trying to understand anything that's not kicks. Yeah, it's just that's the check hook. Yeah, I think if you're a Taekwondo dude, you probably understand that as well with the clean gyms and whatnot. Yeah. I just think, but in order for you to keep your gym clean and that, like, you have to be like, you have to be a bit of a Nazi about certain things, and uniforms is a big one to keep the gym clean. Like, I think that's my opinion, anyways. And then it just leads to other things. And then once you have people are on board with steps 1 through to 5 or 6, everything else becomes easier to manage. If you have to deal with like a whole bunch of other shit, like, it becomes difficult, because then you're going up to people saying, hey man, you're rolling too hard and blah blah blah. But for example, not having casuals allowed in the gym, where it's a members only gym, means that I don't have to worry about that. Everyone's accountable more or less to everything, because your members want clean gyms. But see, some people will say that's toxic. You should let people come in because your guys should test themselves and this and that and blah blah blah. And I think, like, dude, if I have guys that want to compete, They can go compete. They can do things. It just depends on what you wanted to do. And the guys that I'm coaching are guys that want to go there, spend some time at a gym, train, and go home. You know what I mean? They're not necessarily trying to test themselves for war, and we're not in there saying that this is what you're going to do. Of course, man, if you have some fighters, this is different. You know, you're a young guy doing jiu-jitsu and you want to go somewhere with it, that's great. I think it's a different story, different stories for different people. So yeah, SG says, oh yeah, we had to wipe the mats clean every class. Yeah, and that's in Taekwondo. Imagine if you're rolling around on the ground with it, man. As I'm getting older too, I can't handle like dirty gyms. All the shit that I couldn't handle when I was younger, I can't handle it on steroids now. It's just it's just disgusting. Like, yeah, I don't think. And then just having some fucking idiot that hurts people in the gym, don't want it. Or just having like a big guy, just like a big unpleasant fucking retard of a guy that just walks around and is like, oh, roll, oh, you want to roll this, and people are all like, this guy's a fuckwit, you know what I mean? Not, oh, that guy's a big guy, but he's a lovely guy. And there's guys that are just fuckwits, you know what I mean? And this is not this makes a very uncomfortable situation, you know. Cool Guy says, hey Fab, any idea how to put confidence in a young fighter? I have a teenager from Japan who I coach for Muay Thai alongside my gym. He's a killer kicker and learns fast, but he's very insecure. I think that we pigeonhole a lot of things too much, like as in like, you know, he has to get better at fighting right now and blah 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 blah. But I think sometimes there's just a learning thing that has to occur, and you don't know what other things are happening outside of the gym for him, you know, and it might be a maturing process that has to happen. I think sometimes letting him do what he's doing and letting him like feel safe and secure in the environment that you're in, I think will help him to mature by itself rather than, you know, trying to push too hard. So I think if he's going to fight, or he wants to fight and he needs more confidence, that's probably going to come if you bring him along slowly and you let him feel comfortable trusting you slowly, like a little bit at a time. You can also do things where, like if he wants to spar, I don't know, when you say, I'm going to ask this as well. If you say he lacks confidence in what way? Is he like, he lacks confidence getting when he's in the cage or in the ring and he's fighting, or he lacks confidence in general, or he lacks confidence in his ability to execute techniques? Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Because I don't know exactly what you mean by that when you say he's insecure. He's insecure how? Fighting, or insecure in his own techniques? I'm not sure, because all those things are different as well. So maybe if you could elaborate on that, that would be good. There's a lot of the times though, especially when you're a young guy, you just need to kind of just stay in the system. Cool Guy says, I appreciate advice, Fab. We never try to push him hard, and I want his happiness first. Just trying to help him feel confidence when he spars against older, bigger partners. Oh, okay. I think, yeah, that has to kind of just, you know, like you said, like I think that you guys aren't pushing him and that, and he's there and he's obviously feels comfortable with you guys. And I think that process is just going to happen, you know, by itself. I don't think you're going to be able to really make that jump for him. You know what I mean? He's going to have to come along. And I think just sparring, I think the more he spars with older, bigger people, like that extreme exposure kind of thing, the more he spars with older, bigger people and nothing happens, like nothing bad happens, the more confident he'll get, especially as he develops, you know, because he's, like you said, he's a teenager, he's very young, he's still, he'll develop, you know. So I think making sure that you pick the right people that aren't going to hurt him but are going to push him, man, he'll just come good, you know. If as long as nothing bad or untoward happens when he's sparring people, I think he'll just develop and grow. And, you know, just got to be a little bit patient with people. There's so many things, you know, we're not just like It's not just linear. Like we don't just have like one type of development where it's like psychological, blah, 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 blah. It's not just one thing. Like there's all of those. But even like say in the physical, there are so many different strands in the physical. Sometimes like you're getting taller, but you're not stronger. Now you're stronger and you're tall, but your bones hurt because you're growing too quick. So all these things are happening and across different components of development. So with the teenagers, you just got to make sure that the experience is good for them. It's still discipline and the rest of it, but you just understand that they're not going to just bang, it's not going to happen necessarily like that. I've got a few young teenagers that are training with us, and it's the same deal. Like you don't know. Yeah. Cool Guy says he tends to get tense and in his head. He's 15, but he's won all his C-class fights, but he just gets shaky and says he's letting us down. I agree on letting him develop his way. Thank you, Fab. Well, it sounds like he's very talented, and it sounds like you guys know what you're doing as well. So I think, yeah, it's hard, man, because I think sometimes when the kids like you, the fallout of that is that they don't want to let you down. You know what I mean? It's one of those, it's like a double-edged sword. Oh, I forgot we have the girls fighting, Andrade and Tatiana. And I think Tatiana's going to get it done. But again, I haven't really been up to date with this. I think Suarez is going to get this done. Just bigger girl, Yeah, we got some teenagers now and that, and you can't tell as well. Like 15, man, you're so young, you're so young. And I'd imagine when you're that age, like your perspective and perception of life is completely skewed. I think back to when I was 15, even older, like even in my mid-20s, like I look back and I think like, fuck, you completely you're completely different to how you are now, and your perception and perspective changed completely. When you're 15, though, I think your only life would be school and your peer groups, which is normal, and it should be like this. Your school and your peer groups, and then if you're lucky enough, and this kid's lucky enough to have a hobby with good, positive people around him, which he's very, very lucky to have and that he's good at. And so that's his whole world, So you really, it's hard, man. It's a big thing for him. And then it's up to you. And not only does he have to deal with his own demons of losing, nobody likes losing, but then he'd hold such high thoughts of you, like thinking, the potential of maybe even losing you guys through him losing in fighting. It'd be hard, man. It's hard when you're young. It's hard when you're that young. And you have no fucking ideas. You get older. Top 43 and I got no idea. Cool Guy says, thanks, Fab. I just want the kid to be happy. Favorite guy to coach, honestly. No, I know the kind of kids you mean, and they're good. How far you reckon he's going to go? You reckon he's going to go the whole way? I'm interested to see in this fight that's coming up with Strickland, and if Strickland beats Adesanya, do you understand how much of a fucking imagine Strickland beats Adesanya, right? Beats him twice, right? Let's say he beats him twice. He beats him, and then they go, we're not doing Duplessis, we're going to have a rematch, and then Strickland beats him in the rematch as well. Just think of this. Imagine what that would do to the whole UFC players. Like, don't get me wrong, Adesanya can still fight light heavyweight. He's still got, he's that big of a name. But I just think like what that would do to what everyone thought, what I thought, because then you'd have like Duplessis versus Strickland. Maybe you find out that yeah. Cool Guy says he's 3-0 in America and 1-1 in Japan. C-class Muay Thai, so headgear and all that. He was in some Tokyo development program for karate kids, but he likes stuff like K1 and boxing. He's the man. Whereabouts in the USA is? He sounds good, man. He sounds good. It's funny because then we talk about the sparring. We were just talking earlier about sparring for people and what people should do to mitigate, brain damage and this and that. Oi, Rupert the Rebel. That's my dog. He's the one that gave the smart chat. No, we're just checking to see if that worked because Beetlejuice asked. Yeah, no, like you have to bring people along slowly. And if, like, say a kid like that, all right, I understand he's the one, understand a kid like that sparring and the rest of it and having fights and like he's going to go somewhere with it. You know what I mean? If you're not going to go somewhere with it, there's no fucking point, man. There's no point sparring, beyond maybe you've had 4 or 5 hard spars in your life. So you understand, okay, well, fuck, that's what a fight's like. And I'm prepared. Should I ever have to have a fight, that's what it's going to be like. If not, I would recommend you don't ever get hit in the head ever in your life. Yeah. Cool guy says he is good. I try to tell him he's the only teenager on our development team, so he gets thrown in the clinch. Haha. I tell him he's a teen and he'll get there, but he just gets bummed. And dude, in a couple of years, he'll be fucking launching people. You know what I mean? that's that's yeah. He's gonna man. When you from 15 to 18, the change is so huge, man. It just has to, just has to happen, and he's gonna be throwing everyone in the very short time as well. It's cool, man. Especially seeing kids develop from that age. Like you see them become elite. You just see them become something real special. In a really short time. Whereabouts is your team? Like whereabouts in the US? Yeah, it is interesting, man. Watching those fights and that, watching kids as they like. I used to always go and watch whenever I'd be overseas, watch like with wrestling or anything like that. I'd always, if I was with seniors, I'd always want to watch like the cadets and that coming through, and then you kind of follow. You watch some kid at 16, and you just follow them the whole way through, and you're like, this kid's gonna be fucking good, And a lot of the times, like they are, and you just watch them. But the real interesting ones are kids that you watch that are kind of mid tier and they kind of fighting it out, but you're just watching them improve. And they kind of, some of them grow into their frame, or they figure out their body a little bit, and they figure out how they're going to get the most out of it. It's interesting. Girls are about to walk in now. Suarez is getting ready to jump in. I think she's going to get it done. I think she's going to get it done. Fucking MMA guru is a funny fellow. I just I just think about some of the stuff he fucking says. Look, like some of the stuff he says, man, is so fucking spot on, man. I watched a little clip of what he said the other day about a particular fighter, and I was like, you fucking like, you're spot on with what you said. Spot on about a particular fighter and drugs and whatnot. And I was just watching some stuff, and I was like, yeah, you're right. You are right. You are 100% right. Cool guy says MMA gurus are needed evil in MMA. Man, I don't even know that he's an evil. I think like you can't have like one narrative just out there. You know what I mean? That's no good, man. It's like a totalitarian government. You know what I mean? You can't just have this one narrative. People are just watching that and listening to it and listening to the media stuff, and it makes me laugh because you just think like that's how these things happen. Like because I watch sometimes things and I'm like, the fuck is seeing it like that? How can people really believe that that's what they're watching? How can they really say, oh yeah, no, that's what I'm watching? That it's crazy to me. SG says, speaking of fighters and drugs, have you seen Overeem lately? He's a vegetarian, right? Is that what you're talking about? He's lost a ton of weight. Yeah. Yeah, and dude, the thing is with drugs is that's not the thing. The thing with drugs is like your ability to recover and just do more and more and more mat time. some of those guys that take it, they just become caricatures of themselves. But if you are fighting, right, and you can take small doses of testosterone and peptides and whatnot, your ability to recover is what really is key. And your ability to do more and more and more and more sessions is key. Your ability to fight later in life, so you have a old brain in a young body, is key. These are the big things. Not like there's guys that look like caricatures of themselves. They're obvious. Like it's an obvious thing. You know, that's not that much. That doesn't surprise me that much. It's the other ones that or just recovering from. People get injured, right? You watch some of the submission grappling tournaments and dudes just get fucking folded and they don't tap, you know, and they just recover and they're back grappling. I'm not going to say who it was. I watched a documentary on one of the grapplers, right? And this dude has this horrific injury. Like, I won't say what it was. I'll say what it was. It was a leg lock. It was a particular kind of leg lock. And it was fucking horrific, right? It was fucking horrific. You would think this guy will never, ever, ever walk again, right? And the doctors said, you're not going to be on the mats for fucking 2 years or whatever it was. And the dude he goes, you know, and through perseverance and discipline and hard work, I was back on the mats and I was rolling within 3 months. And I was thinking, that's not because of perseverance and hard work, buddy. Like that, like you'd be lucky to be fucking walking in 3 months with how horrific this injury was. You know, it was absolutely fucking brutal. Like this guy, you know, and good for you, go take it. But I'm just saying, like, when it goes back to what I was saying before, I'm not telling you not to take drugs. I'm not fucking saying anything. I'm just saying that when you do take it, you can't be talking about, oh, this is the recovery length that I did and blah, blah. I got a mate of mine now, just had a shoulder surgery and just had a whole bunch of stuff injected into him and that to help him recover with it. Good for him, you know, good for him. But he's not the American College of Sports Medicine standard for a normal person that's not on PEDs to heal. That's not the thing. Cool Guy says, being able to be a full-time fighter alongside steroids allows for more time to train and develop skills. It's very unfair for the lower income UFC guys. Laugh out loud. Perseverance must be the name of his dealer. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's a thing, man. And you, like I said to you before, if you watch the UFC and you watch that and you see, and this isn't even like, you know, they're not busting everyone that they want to bust. Like they're only busting the people they kind of want to catch. But even then, if you look at it, look at all the guys that are in, you know, late 30s, early 40s, and how many of them get caught, the ones that are doing well. Like, I don't think there's been very few that, yeah, I guess stem cells are legal. Yeah, but stem cells aren't what people make it out to be, because it's not going to fix it outside of taking away the inflammation. And this is from someone that's had stem cell therapy done on my knees. It just basically took away the inflammation. It's not going to do the shit that people say it's going to do. You know what I mean? Not even close. If you have like a bad sprain or you know, with the ligaments or something like that, yeah, it'll help for sure. It'll help like that, like with some soft tissue stuff. But it's like takes away the inflammation, takes away a lot of stuff. It's not the fucking bullshit that people pretend to be. You got to remember, you got to listen to people, and you got to understand that a lot of the people that are telling you, yeah, you just take stem cells, you just get injection, it'll clear that right up. Dudes are getting paid to say that kind of shit as well, you know. 4 minutes to go, Suarez versus Andrade, or when they tell you that they're carnivores or fucking do the carnivore diet and they don't eat fucking this and they don't eat that, but they're fucking on roids hard and they're on a bunch of supplements and they own a supplement company. Like, it's fucking stupid. Like, if you're listening to that and you don't, I'm not a hater. I'm just saying, if you not taking that into account when you're listening to them, you're fucking stupid. SG says, what do stem cells do? Sounds like everyone and their mothers is taking stem cells these days. Yeah, no, it's exactly that, what you said, SG, about the Bitcoin thing as well. Like, you might have some Bitcoin You know what I mean? Can I like I have a little bit of Bitcoin? Can I explain it properly? No, I don't fucking know. Same as the stem cell guys. I've had it, man. I've had platelet-rich plasma treatment. I've had everything you can think of with my on my knees. My femur and my tibia aren't lined up from when I was a little kid, and that's why I have a really bad knee. But like stem cells isn't going to fix that. I've spent thousands of dollars on it. You know, like it's not what people act that it is. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying it's not like works like it's going to work like they say it's going to work. All right, so Andrade has been taken down by Suarez with 2 minutes and 35 seconds to go. Suarez is in side control already. She's dwarfing Andrade. 2 minutes and 28 seconds to go. It's a long time to work on the ground. They're both dry. Suarez doing a good job of controlling the far leg so that Andrade can't use her hips to get the position back with her right knee. And so I don't know if she's going to finish her. She's probably going to transition to mount at some stage. She looks like she's trying to set up a guillotine. I don't know if she's going to be able to do it. Look, she's cinching it in. Andrade is very strong. She gets to all fours. Suarez still on her knees. Andrade is up. Eating knees, by the way. She's eating a few knees to the head. There have been guests on JRE who have talked about taking stem cells for fun and for no solid reason. Yeah, well, I mean, you got to understand, like, you got to understand what you're listening to. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big thing. You know, like that's not that I have anything against Joe Rogan I think he's brilliant at what he does. You know what I mean? I just think like you got to understand what it is you're listening to. You know, a lot of the times that's not those two things are not the same thing. You know what I mean? Like you can't listen to somebody that owns a supplement company talking about supplements and how good they are for you. You fucking got to be retarded. You know, you can't listen to someone that's fucking roided to the gills talking about nutrition and you not taking that. Not saying that they don't know, but you not taking that into account. You got to be fucking stupid. You know what I mean? And also talking to people say, I've had stem cells, you know, but they've had stem cell surgery, but they're on gear too. So you can't thing like, and I'm not judging. Like I said, I got one of my mates is on a whole bunch of peptides and that now, like healing their shoulder, and good for them. Oh, left hook landed by Andrade. 10 seconds to go. Left kick to the body by Suarez. I find it hard to watch sometimes a women's fight. I find it really, really difficult. And these two are two of the better girls as well. I just find it a little bit difficult. I can't really get into it as much. Yeah, I think if you don't take into account the source of the information that you're getting it from, and you don't understand where it's all coming from, you're fucking dumb, you know. And also, when you're listening to people talk about stuff and you don't understand who their employer is, one way or another, or what their role is in the dynamics of a conversation or in the dynamics of business, again, you're fucking dumb. Like I can't get that enough. Like I can't get that through. That's why I like MMA Guru, man. I do like him for that exact reason. Like he'll say stuff. Thoughts on power slap and slap fighting in general. I think it's fucking retarded. Thoughts on, and literally, I think like it's gonna make people fucking. That's CTE perfect. Like there's no other outcome that's going to happen outside of CTE. I've watched it a couple of times just to watch it, just to see, like, because I don't want to give an opinion if I don't know. And I was like, wow, like, so you're paying these guys a couple of grand to just smack the fuck out of each other. It's just like, it's insane. It's insane, like, because there's no real, like, I mean, do it if you want to do it. I don't care. But I'm just, if we're talking about in a time and age when people are talking about CTE, this is my point. I'm not telling you don't do slap fighting. Go whatever the fucking thing is. Go and do it. But understand that in this day and age, when people are talking about CTE or how we're going to protect the fighters and this and that and da, and at the same time, then you run a company that the whole objective is for you to fucking slap them like that. It's, well, where is that? Like, I don't even understand. How do you marry those two concepts? It's the same company that runs a fight company that talks about CTE and fighters and blah 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 and this and that. And you have, it's fucking madness. You know what I mean? It's not even, you're not even watching. You don't even know what the fuck you're watching. Like, it's insane. Suarez just got the win. I'm sorry, Suarez, I didn't do you justice. No, I haven't seen the way they fight, the way they train. I can only imagine. You know what slap fighting's good for, man? Especially the heavyweights. If I owned a nightclub and I was looking for bouncers, I would go and get some of those slap fighters just to, like, do the door or something, or follow me around if I won the lotto, because they're not getting paid much and they can take a shot and they can certainly give one. So that's what I'd have them for, just to follow me around if I won the fucking lotto. But if not, yeah, I don't see any other purpose. And you're not getting paid much, dude, and they're getting hit so fucking hard, I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. I don't see anything positive with it, to be honest with you, other than some guys that would probably be doing it for free, getting paid for it. That's probably the only thing I see for that. Deep guillotine by Suarez. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Suarez is fucking pumped. Nah, I can only imagine them training. I just seen the dudes get slapped, dude, and I just seen them get slapped so fucking hard that they looked like they were gonna fucking die. It did not compute to me how hard they got hit. It's ridiculous. And it just makes me laugh that you say that SG, you go, the guys who explain stem cells are just as clueless as the ones that try and explain Bitcoin. You know what? If you just say, I invested in Bitcoin because fucking, I don't know, it could go up, and I put a couple of grand on it because I had a couple of grand left, like, that I could invest. Say that, I respect you. If you say to me, you just got stem cells done because, what about Kajitsu? Yeah, Kajitsu to me, and even that, who I like watching sometimes every now and then after I put my kids to bed and I just want to fucking zone out for like 15 minutes or half an hour or whatever, is that Hard to Kill guy, that little guy that shout out to him. Do you know who I'm talking about? The Hard to Kill guy, the guy that has the weapons and he tries the weapons and he does the self-defense fighting championships. I watch that. I'd rather watch that. That's so much more applicable, so much safer, and there's a bit more of a point to what they're doing than just the slap fighting. The slap fighting is just like, watch these two dudes just for a couple of grand beat the fuck out of each other. You know what I mean? That's just fucking dumb. Yeah, shout out to Hard to Kill or Hard to Hurt. Hard to Hurt. That's it. That's their name. Yeah. Yeah. If you know them, mention that I shouted them out. Good for them. No, yeah, I'd rather do that or watch that. That's much more applicable, and there's much more of a point to it than just smacking each other in the head and getting fucking brain damage for no reason for $2,000, you know? So, yeah. Tatiana Suarez always makes me laugh. Sorry, when they have the women and the men in the same, like, uh, in the same thing. Like it says most active winning streaks, and it's got Aljamain Sterling, whoever, da da da, and then it has Tatiana Suarez, this and that. I do think it should be most active female win streak and the most active male win streak because it's got nothing to fucking do with each other. If you put Aljamain Sterling in the women's division, he'll fucking never lose. It's just a funny thing to me that it's like that. But it starts again when you're listening to it, and I understand they had to pump up Ronda Rousey and all of that. But I remember when people were like, she could absolutely beat the man, and nobody could believe that. Nobody would fucking believe that. You know what I mean? And people just repeating it. People just repeating it. It just makes me laugh when I saw that and I saw the wins. Oliver Ekman says, wasn't this her comeback? She had cancer or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. If this is her comeback and she had cancer and she's back, man, my heart goes out to her and I'm really happy for her win. Even if she didn't, I'm still happy for her win. Good for her. Still a separate issue to her being fighting, you know, like I said, I think it's almost two different sports. SG says, right, not to be a downer, but putting Amanda Nunes next to GSP and John Jones didn't seem right. A fantastic fighter there. I think Amanda Nunes is the problem is, right, when you talk about like it actually diminishes what they accomplished because you're bringing up that asterisk, you know what I mean? If you're comparing her, you're putting her next to guys that you're just not you can't compare, you know, they're not the same. But if you leave her with women, you know what I mean, like you're looking at her completely different, you know, like it's a different she's a fucking monster, dude. She's a fucking monster. But as soon as you if you put a flyweight man next to you put him next to Francis Ngannou, or you put him next to John Jones, or you put him next to Jamal Hill or Israel or Alex Pereira, all the way down to like even middleweight kind of thing. Like you can't even compare because there's guys when you're watching the difference, and this people don't understand when you're watching a flyweight men's fight, right? There's guys in the stands that could beat them in a fight. Not your average fucking beer swinging guy, but there'd be guys in the stands that fight that are amateur heavyweights or amateur good, decent, that would beat that guy. But if Francis Ngannou's fighting or John Jones is fighting, if you're not one of them or a handful of other guys in the world, you can't beat them. That's it. That's what the spectacle is of watching the light heavyweights and the heavyweight men fight. Is that if you're not one of those dudes that's right there, you can't beat these guys in a fight. End of fucking story. They are the baddest people on the planet. The best flyweight in the world. There's still a lot of guys that can beat him in a fight, and there's nothing to take away from the flyweight. The flyweights are fucking amazing. I love watching them fight, but that is the spectacle that comes with the heavier weights. Remember back when Cejudo wanted to fight Zhang Weili? No, I don't. But, you know, it is a funny thing with the King of Cringe there because people are saying that, and I'm fucking good for him. You know, like, all right, then make it happen. SG says, right, Bradley Martin is a 200-pound bodybuilder and Mighty Mouse, they have agreed to fight. Yeah, but I don't know who that guy is, that Bradley Martin guy is. I don't know as far as like combat experience. Like, if you're just a 200-pound guy, 200 pounds is not even that big. That's to begin with. You're not that big of a guy. He must be much bigger, I'm imagining, because 200 pounds is a big guy, but you're not. Like, if you're a 200-pound bodybuilder, that means that legit, like, let's say you're 205 pounds, for argument's sake. If you're a 205-pound bodybuilder, if you weren't a bodybuilder and you fought MMA, like you trained, and that's the thing, you'd probably be a lightweight, dude. You'd probably cut to lightweight. You wouldn't be that that's not that big. Like all middleweights walk more than 200 pounds, easy. Like off season and shit, like way over 200 pounds. So, so no, I don't see him beating fucking. That's not even that big of a guy, and Mighty Mouse is fucking good. That's a different thing. I meant not so, but I don't know if he's got combat. If he's a fucking fighter or something who wrestled in high school, maybe. But that's not who I meant. Anyways, what I meant was like, if you're Mighty Mouse and you're fighting, like the bantamweight, featherweight, welterweights, like any welterweight good, not a shit one, but a good pro will beat him in a fight if they were going to actually fight. That's what the situation is. That's why the spectacle is of the bigger weights. But to see his two little guys here, I think unless Bradley Martin is some sort of fucking martial artist or something, or I think Mighty Mouse will smash him. Joseph says, we need Coach Fab versus Zhang Weili 5-rounder in Utah for the culture. I like Zhang Weili. Toby says, Brad's a weird one. He's been trying to flex on smaller guys that he could crush them. I'm talking Devin Haney and Mighty Mouse, etc. If I don't, did he wrestle in high school or something, or in college, or is he like a blue belt or a purple belt in jiu-jitsu? Because if he's a big, strong, powerful guy and he did jiu-jitsu or grappling or wrestling or something, and he gets Devin Haney down, then Devin Haney, yes, I could see him beating, But there's another thing that happens, dude. Like, there's a difference to a real fight. Like, people talk about boxers and a real fight. And like in a real fight, you can grab a boxer, you can do this, you can do that. A Devin Haney would be so confident in his hands and so fucking mean and hit so fucking hard. Look, people talk about Mayweather and they go, if he fought a real Mayweather's not a heavy puncher. And I think if Mayweather hit you, dude, he will fucking make you shit your pants. If you're a normal person, I'm not talking about you're a fighter or you're a guy that trains for fighting. I'm talking about you just like a normal person. And this guy punched you in the fucking face, he'd break your head. He would break your fucking head. And a guy like Devin Haney, if you arguing with him and he thinks you're going to fight, he will just fucking crack you and he will hurt you bad. You know what I mean? Like, and then if you eat one of him, you're going to eat fucking 50. He's going to hurt you really, really bad. Now, in a set fight where you're in a cage and you got gloves on and the rest of it, and the guy just barrels him, maybe he'll win. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he'll beat Mighty Mouse. Oliver Ekman says he's probably 260, 270. Yeah, that's a big dude. He's delusional, though. Thinks he'll beat everyone in a street fight. 260 and 270, though, it starts to get like that. If he's a yoked, fit, strong guy and he's athletic, these things are different as well. There's different to be 260. You're just jacked. You can barely move with 260 and you got combat experience, but you're athletic. If he's athletic, maybe he wrestled in high school. I don't know. But if he's athletic, like let's say he ran track, it can still run fast. If you're athletic and got good balance and that makes a big fucking difference, especially at 260, 270. Toby says he's got zero combat experience, just a meathead. Joseph, coach, who do you have in the main? In the main event, I have Sandhagen. I don't think it's going to go the distance. I think Sandhagen's going to finish him. Oliver Ekman says zero combat experience is just an ego trip of a human. He thinks just because he's big and mean, he can beat everyone. He said he did well against a jiu-jitsu black belt, but there's proof of him getting raped by that black belt and a brown belt. Mighty Mouse can probably gas him out. If he has no combat experience, Mighty Mouse is definitely going to gas him out and just bash him. It's not even going to be close. Like there's differences, you know what I mean? But I will say this. If you're a 260, 270 pound guy and you're actually fit and strong and athletic and you do understand the basics of what's going to happen, that's a completely different thing. You know what I mean? That's a completely different thing. If you're just a big fucking guy, you don't even know, like people don't even know how they're going to act once they get hit. Do you get what I mean? Like I see this all the time, dude. I see fucking idiots like mouth off or fucking threaten people or something, and the person doesn't say anything back. And they go, so-and-so, he's a boxer, and I fucking rang him and I said, fuck, mate, if I see you, I'm going to fucking knock you out. And, you hear, and what did so-and-so say? So-and-so didn't say anything. He said, sorry, mate, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, fucking dog, mate. He got fucking scared. A lot of time, dude's not fucking scared of you, man. It's just like, it doesn't want to have a fucking fight. He's got other shit going in his life. But the thing that I was going to say to you is like, it's, you don't even know how people are going to react. You don't know how that guy will react if Mighty Mouse cracks him right in the fucking head. You don't know how that's going to be, because Mighty Mouse is going to punch harder than you fucking think he's going to punch. He's going to punch so hard. SG says the guy is built like Arnold for reference. Yeah, well, he's going to be a big, strong guy, isn't he? Rob Font's getting Vaseline on his face. Eli Clutch says, let's go, Fab. Glad you're back, brother. Can't wait to tune into the content. Thank you, sir. Oliver Ekman says there's also a video of him wrestling this very small guy with no experience, and it was kind of close for a bit, like way closer than it should have been. If the guy is little, dude, and this guy is fucking big and strong, then I don't imagine that it would be easy to wrestle him. You know what I mean? Like, when you say it should have been, is it you thought the guy did way better, or you thought that Bradley Martin did better? Which way was it close? Because, man, I don't. If you wrestle, do jiu-jitsu against a tiny little guy, and you don't fucking murder him, and you've been calling him out, it's on you. You know what I mean? The guy only has to fucking survive, really. I think Sandhagen is just going to be too long. He's going to be too rangy. He's a little bit more complete. Rob Font's obviously got hands, very good hands. Yeah, I don't know with that kind of stuff. I don't think people understand like just the aggression and the meanness and how confident those little guys are. Like someone like Johnson or someone like that. Like they're always like the hard ones. Like they'll just go hard. You know what I mean? That's what they're used to doing their whole life. That's why when he was saying that to Devin Haney, and I was just thinking like, when you're saying that he said that to Devin Haney, I'm just like, dude, like people don't understand. Like these guys will put knuckles on you from different angles, and they'll do it hard, and they'll be very, very confident in their ability to do it. In that moment, if you're arguing with someone, you're like, should I hit this guy? Do you think that what will happen if I hit him? Will this guy go down? Well, they'll just hit you, and they'll hit you hard. So it's a different animal completely. It's not and the damage that they'll do when they hit you. I think Devin Haney would smash him too, to be honest with you, unless he can really grab Haney. So what does he do? Does he call people on social media, or how does it work? Obviously, he's doing it for attention. Like, yeah. Sandhagen's walking out. If I'm not mistaken, Sandhagen was a good basketball player too back in the day. You see those guys that play they're like decent level sports, like, and they have really good coordination, really good hand-eye coordination and different abilities. He's lean, dude, this guy. He's built like every Muay Thai guy. Like whenever you go to a gym and there's like that one Muay Thai guy that trains and competes all the time, there's that one guy there in that every gym that everyone hates to fucking spar. That's what he looks like, that tall, skinny guy. Oliver Aikman says that's the exact point Devin made, and the guy's ego got the best of him. He just couldn't accept this. SG said he said it on a podcast. Supposedly, Mighty Mouse agreed. Joseph says just a glorious mustache. Corey wins already. Fucking nah, I don't. And also, like I said, in a ring as well, like when you're set to fight and you both thing is different to a real fight, like in the sense real fights start differently, you know. Um, and it's in those situations that a guy with good hands will just go pop, 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 and that'll be done. You know, like you're not going to get this chance to barrel him over and start doing jiu-jitsu. That's another fallacy with the grappling arts as well. Whilst they're super effective, yeah, but they're not, like, you know, it says 90% of fights end up on the ground, or 100%. Man, they can end on the ground, but they could end up with you like face down, knock the fuck out. That's how it could end up on the ground. So not always is it going to get like into grappling if the guy smacks a fuck out of you and you can't get the takedown. It's not the same thing. Toby says, I think Mighty Mouse will aim to take his back in an MMA fight, not by level changing, but better footwork. If the guy can't fight, Mighty Mouse will just fucking punch the shit out of him. It'll just hurt him. It won't even be fucking close, dude. It won't, like, not only that, the advantage, like the speed advantage on the feet is be incredible, dude. Like, it's not, yeah. You know, I think a lot of those stats also where fights end up on the ground are taken from like law enforcement and that, where you're trying to get people on the ground. You know, not all fights end up on the ground like that. You know, the other fallacy, the other stupid fallacy is like, if I'm in a self-defense situation, I'm going to run away. And it's like, most of the time, if you get attacked, you're someone that's not going to outrun the person that's attacking you, because being able to run is like is based on your level of athleticism, and your level of athleticism is also going to transfer to your fighting abilities, your ability to defend yourself. So most of the time, if you get attacked, you're not going to be A, in a position to be able to run away, and B, you're probably not going to be able to outrun the person that's attacking you, because they picked you for a fucking reason, you know. So if you're in a crowded nightclub, you're not going to get away. You know, you're not going to be able to run away. If you're in a bar, you're not going to be able to get away. If you're at the fucking train station and God pins you to the wall, you're not going to get away. You're not going to run off. And more than likely, if they've picked you, it's because they picked you because you look maybe weaker or smaller or whatever, and you probably wouldn't get away. Me, today, right? I'm 43. I was fast. I was a fast runner in high school, even after high school. Today I wouldn't be able to get away from fucking anyone. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not even out of shape. Like, I'm in decent shape, but my knees are shot and I'm older. I would not outrun a 16-year-old. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. SG says, I don't think Mighty Mouse's legs are long enough to throw a body triangle. Just push your fat mate in front of the attacker. Worked for me all the time. Laugh out loud. Well, maybe I don't have a lot of fat mates, but yeah, man, honestly, if the guy, it won't even body triangle, all that shit won't even come into it. If the guy's untrained, Mighty Mouse will just punch the fuck out of him. Like, it won't last a round. They're about to start, guys. We're about to start. We're off. Sandhagen in the southpaw stance, both men in southpaw. I believe Sandhagen's going to start looking for a leg kick. Sandhagen switching stances. Rob Font is looking for a right hand. Sandhagen gets the takedown early. Well done, Sandhagen. Rob Font with a tilt. Once again with a tilt. Oh, Rob Font. But Sandhagen's on top. Rob Font's looking for a guillotine. Good job. I did not see that coming from Rob Font, that kind of tilt. Good takedown from Sandhagen. I would imagine that Sandhagen has a better advantage on the ground, but Rob Font's in pretty deep on his guillotine. I can't see the grips. I can't see how deep the grip is. It looks like it's on pretty tight. It looks like it's a head arm guillotine, but yeah, but it's arming guillotine, it looks. I don't know, but Sandhagen's arm's trapped. Rob Font could be looking to take the back here. No, he hasn't got it, and Sandhagen's going to get it. He's going to end up on top. Sandhagen's going to end up on top. Font is looking for a Kimura. It's on the offside for the Kimura, so he's probably looking for some sort of Kimura trap. But and it's good. This is pretty decent because If Sandhagen compromises his balance, he's going to fall into a Kimura trap. Well done, looking to take his back and get up to the feet. He did it before I could say what he was going to do. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to affect him, the short notice, as the fight progresses. So let's see. Inside leg kick by Sandhagen. I really like Font. That's why I don't like this fight, because I don't think he'll beat Sandhagen, especially after a few rounds. Like, I think Sandhagen's been very, I'm going to fight, you know what I mean? And Font not as much. Another takedown, this time landed flush by Sandhagen. Good for him in as far as getting the takedown. He's in the butterfly guard of Font. Font gets the elevation, but Sandhagen's too long to elevate. Lands a right hand on Font there, flushes Font when to get up. Font's in on a single leg, but I don't think he's not going to do much other than try and get up from it. And I think that Sandhagen will probably try a dust, but it's on the other side. It's on the side that he usually goes for dasses on. Yeah, see, now he's switched to the other side, the side that he prefers. Went for a 3/4 Nelson. Now he's put one hook in and he's put Font on his back. Font is looking for a deep half, but he's not getting it. He's blocking. Oh, big left elbow by Sandhagen. Again, Font looking for an octopus kind of guard sweep there, like a step over. Doesn't get it. He's got his knee shields in a sort of half guard. He's got the right underhook in once again, but the underhook's on the offside, right? Most people put underhook on the left side to get out of half guard. So Sandhagen's passed to the other side, and I don't think Font's going to be able to get out from underneath like this. When you see people and they have the right underhook in and they're in half guard, unless they're very good grapplers, they're going to struggle. That's the same thing happened with Dricus and Rob. SG says, Fab, would you get a tat like Corey's back tattoo? I would not. Font's in a bit of trouble. Got the underhooks. Sandhagen throws a left hand. Font looks like he's a bit worn, like that takes a fair toll on you being on the bottom like that. 1 minute and 11 seconds. Inside leg kick by Font. Doubles up on the jab, does Sandhagen. Left hand by Sandhagen. Sandhagen switching stances. A right and a left by Rob Font. No, big left kick to the body by Sandhagen. That landed, but he got caught by Font. Font's looking for some big ground and pound because he took Sandhagen down. Sandhagen is trying to turn to his knees, and Font will try and take the back, but I do imagine that Sandhagen will roll or get up. One of the two. I don't think he's going to let. Yeah, there he's gotten up. And that's the round, gentlemen. That's the round. Interesting fight. Font's doing really well. He's doing really well. Better than I thought he would be doing. Sandhagen is obviously winning this round. I don't think that that's in question. And it's just going to be, is Sandhagen going to rinse or repeat? Is he going to throw knees up the middle? Because that's how I thought he would get this win, with knees up the middle. But I think that Sandhagen is going to be able to fight like this for the rest of the thing. He doesn't have to go out and get like a massive knockout or anything. Like, he can just keep, chipping away. That was a big round for him too, by the way. That was a big round. And he put him on his back. That was good. 4 minutes, 57 seconds to go. They both started. Oliver Eckerman says, I love you, Fab. I just want you to know that. I love you, mate. I love you. And I want you to know that. It changes his stances, does Sandhagen. Goes once again in on this deep single leg and gets a takedown. Font is still defending, but now he's capitulated to the takedown and he's down. He's in half guard with Sandhagen controlling the position here. There's no real shields or anything from knee shields or anything like that from Font, but he isn't flat on his back, which is good. Now he gets the underhook, but once again, he's on the offside. He's on the other side. And this is hard for him to get up. It's going to be hard. Like no matter what, you don't drill. Even if you drill, you don't spend as much time with your right underhook in. Now, if Sandhagen's doing this meaning to do it, clever boy, you know. If it just happened because it happened, well, so be it. Still, he's doing a great job of keeping that right underhook. Is Sandhagen. He's got the head control. He's going to look to pass. He's doing a great job. Font's trying to elevate him, but Sandhagen's doing great. Font has his leg and he's got it in a lock here, but he's not. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything from here. If anything, he's just going to get himself pinned to the floor even more. He hasn't got a lockdown that I can see either in his legs, so it's going to be hard for him. He's just going to wear on his legs, on his arms more and more to be holding Sandhagen like that in that isometric contraction. Sandhagen's just got him pinned to the mat, doing a fantastic job. Randy says, which upcoming fights are you excited about? Possibly the one with my wife and kids after this podcast, because I can hear my kids just going fucking mad in the background. So hopefully my wife will take my side against the kids and we put on a uniformed front against them and fight these little mongrels to the death, what we've done here. That's what I hope, Randy. That's the fight. That's the fight. I do think, though, that they'll probably win the decision later throughout the night. You know, they usually just beat us by attrition, mate. Sandhagen's just doing a fantastic job of pinning Font down to the mat. You know, this would be extremely taxing for Font. Extremely, extremely taxing. Because whilst, you know what, man, his jiu-jitsu is not bad. His jiu-jitsu is good. But it's not where he wants to fight. He wants to box. He wants to, that's his game, you know, and being pinned like this to the floor is no one's fucking plan anyways. Even if you are a jiu-jitsu guy, even if you like to fight off your back, this isn't your game plan, you know? SG says a sanctioned fight with the young'uns. Yes, sir. Joseph says Coach Fab's kids 10-7. Yeah, they were 10-7 me, man, for sure. They will 10-7 us. Doing a great job. Now Sandhagen's starting to win all the incremental battles in the grip fighting. Everywhere he's starting to land the elbows, and Font is just basically hanging on. SG says, I don't think Font's got the strength and condition you'd get with a full camp. I agree with that, but even more so is like just being put in that position, you know, by Sandhagen. Once you get put in that position, you get pinned to the back, you get pinned to the floor. There's a difference between when you're doing jiu-jitsu even, you're not trying to be on your back. That's not actually true either. You don't want to be, you have your back flat on the floor like this. This is not really what you're going for. You're looking to get angles and to create angles. So when you get pinned like that, it's a big problem. And that's what I said earlier in the fight. I said like the big elbow by Sandhagen. He's doing a good job of getting his back off the floor, like even though that he lost certain positions, but now he's getting pinned to the floor. He's getting his back put on the floor more and more. Oliver Ekman says, Fab, are you still chasing the Danny DeVito fight? I'm betting the house on you. Thank you, man. If it happens, it happens, but I'm not chasing it. And I'd probably employ this kind of fight with him. It would be very similar to Sandhagen versus Font. I imagine Danny would have good hands and he's shorter than me. I'd aim to take him down, put him on his back, and just wear him out for as long as I possibly can until I start to get better positions and then be able to land the ground and pound on him. Probably split him open, pass, and I wouldn't rush the finish. That's the tactics and the strategy that I have. That was a good takedown, man. He'd just be more and more tired now, Rob Font. About to kick off again. Third round. I think Sandhagen will finish him in this round, eh? Sandhagen looking for the jabs. Font coming forward. I think he's going to feint a takedown, come up with a knee. Fuck, front kick up the middle. It just came up. That was savage front kick, man. Nice left hook by See, that was closer to a check left hook, whoever it was. I was asking that before about the check left hook. Now he's in southpaw stance. Oh, throws a big uppercut. There's Sandhagen. There's that knee. That's what I was talking about before, but he didn't land it flush. That's what I thought he was going to do, is feint the takedown and then go for the knee. And now he's pinned him once again to the floor. And I do think he's probably going to get it done this round. There's no real knee shields or anything coming up from... Now he's got a knee shield in. Does Rob Font. Now there's no more knee shield. Without the knee shield, it's very hard. You got to really want to fight to get that knee shield in, so you can start to do stuff. Otherwise, you're going to get put flat on your back. It's going to get really, really difficult. You don't have to have the knee shield. There's other things you can do, but the knee shield will keep him off you a little bit. That right knee shield, I'd like to see that in the hip and create some distance and allow you to try and get up. Sandhagen's got really good position here on the ground. When you're in this position, it's not really half guard. It's more of a Turk ride in wrestling. So for Sandhagen, it's more of a Turk ride as opposed to it being half guard for Font. That's one of the things, because he's basically pinned here to the mat. And that minimizes your ability to get stuff off, Nice little elbow landed by Sandhagen with 2 minutes and 36 seconds to go. He's in trouble. Is Font, like in a lot of trouble with 2 minutes to go. He's got a 2-1 on the hand to minimize the damage. But again, all of that stuff, it's like putting a fucking band-aid on a machete wound. It's not going to stop it. It's not going to stop him in the long run. And it takes a lot of energy, even just to hold him. That big explosion there, we try to wrestle up. He wasn't able to do it. I don't think he's going to last this round. There's 2 minutes to go. Sandhagen's on top. He's fresh. Font is exhausted. He's absolutely pinned, elbowed by Sandhagen. If he survives this next minute and 42 seconds, I'll be impressed. But his arms would be completely lactic. Like, he's going to have no punching power. That's why when you was holding that 2-1 like that, you can hold it, but you're only going to be able to hold it for a little bit of time. And even that requires a lot of effort, like a lot of isometric contraction. And then you got to be able to punch afterwards. He's looking for this leg lock on this side, but Sandhagen was too clever. Like, he wants to put that that left foot in Sandhagen's hip to try and look for a leg lock, but Sandhagen knows that that's coming, and he knows exactly to circle the other way to stop that, to block it off. And he goes looking for the Kimura trap, but it's on the other side. Big ground and pound by Sandhagen. There's 53 seconds to go. Sandhagen's looking for the wrist ride, doesn't get it, but puts him back flat on his mat on his back. This is all Sandhagen, this fight. 41 seconds to go. Font is able to get up. There goes a knee from Sandhagen that he's looking for. $15 seconds to go in this round. Sandhagen's doing a very good job. Oh, big exchange there. 1 sec. That's it. That's a round. That was a big exchange at the end, like a decent exchange at the end. But no, I think this is a very, very one-sided fight for Sandhagen. I can't see Font coming back from this in any shape, way, or form. I don't see it. I really don't. He's doing a good job, Font, to come in on short notice. But sometimes you ask yourself with those short notice fights, like, what is in fact the point of that? Because, like, I don't think this would have helped, like, at all. Like, I think that Sandhagen at the best of times would be a very hard fight for anyone, in particular for Font's style. And I like Font a lot, but it's just a very, very difficult matchup, and sometimes you ask yourself, well, what will it actually do for you in the rankings? You know what I mean? Other than for you to get a bit of a payday. But even then, like, I don't know. I don't think it's a good fight to take on short notice. I don't think Sandhagen's that guy. I was surprised that it's lasted past the third round. I thought that, especially with the way this fight went, I thought that Sandhagen will get him out of there by now. But it just credit to how tough Font is. And he is very fit, dude, because for you to be able to survive this to this point and in the way that you've been fighting is fucking hard. He needs a finish, obviously, but I don't think he's got it in him to finish Sandhagen now. Sandhagen with a knee pick, and he gets him back to the ground. Same position, same thing. He's got him flat on his back. Doing a good job, Sandhagen, of keeping him on his back, keeping him flat. 4 minutes to go, and he got taken down almost immediately. It's a testament to Font's jiu-jitsu and his toughness and his fitness that he's able to survive this long with Sandhagen on top of him. Good job by Sandhagen.